KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. One of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in the nation's history has died. His family confirms Dick Cheney died at the age of 84.
Dick Cheney is remembered for a soft-spoken but often acerbic public persona. But he was a power player as a White House chief of staff, congressman, defense secretary, chief executive of defense contractor Halliburton, and, of course, vice president of the United States. He once summed up his working relationship with President George W. Bush.
I might go in and argue a different point of view with him, but I'll do it privately. And when he's made his decision, then I'll salute smartly and support the policy.
Despite that understatement, Cheney was one of the most influential vice presidents in U.S. history, shaping the Bush administration Iraq war strategy while affecting the energy agenda and other crucial policies. Cammie McCormick, CBS News, Washington.
His family says Cheney died from complications of pneumonia, cardiac, and vascular disease. It's Election Day, and all political eyes are on New York, where polls show self-described Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani leads former disgraced Governor Andrew Cuomo in the race for mayor.
Let us leave everything out there on the field, my friends. Let us do it together.
Cuomo, who's been endorsed by President Trump, insists
we need a mayor who can stand up to Donald Trump, who can get the funding that New York deserves.
The president says he'll cut off federal money if Mamdani wins. California voters are weighing in on a proposition that would redraw congressional districts to favor Democrats. UCLA law professor Rick Hasen.
This is starting a kind of redistricting war that doesn't seem to have any end other than when all the states that can do more partisan gerrymandering do more partisan gerrymandering.
At least 6 people have died in a listeria outbreak linked to prepared pasta.
The frozen meals supplied by Nate's Fine Foods were sold at major grocery chains across the country, with names like Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine Alfredo and Sprouts Farmers Market's smoked mozzarella pasta salad. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Schaffner says they were pre-cooked meals.
They're just warmed up. That warming up is not sufficient to kill all of the listeria.
In all, 27 people have been sickened in 18 states. Investigators are still searching for the source of the outbreak. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Meet People Magazine's 2025 Sexiest Man Alive.
You can't leave because you can't resist this.
Jonathan Bailey, who made his movie debut in Wicked, is the first openly gay man to wear the crown. Dow futures are down 319. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
At 6:03, clear sky, 41 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news. A St. Peter's woman is sentenced to the minimum 5 years in federal prison for an arson in Puerto Rico.
In a statement from St. Louis Alderwoman Daniela Velasquez, who is a native of Puerto Rico, says, I am grateful that this nightmare for the victims of the arson has finally come to a close after St. Louis area resident Danielle Bertothi was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison following her guilty plea. The 37-year-old Bertothi pleaded guilty in July to setting the fire, which damaged 4 businesses and forced 40 hotel guests to evacuate. Bertothi will also have to pay restitution for the damage, including for the belongings of guests that were destroyed. Velasquez writes, while this sentence doesn't erase what happened, it's a reminder that caring for our communities, wherever we are, still matters. Now the community can focus on rebuilding and moving forward. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A man is dead after a daytime shooting in the Walnut Park East neighborhood of St. Louis. This happened Monday afternoon around 3:15 in the area of Genevieve and Prange. Homicide detectives are investigating.
As SNAP and WIC funding remains in limbo, local food drives are becoming more common.
State Representative Jim Murphy tells KMOX he's starting up his food drives for the first time in years. He says there isn't much more the state legislature can do at this time.
Unfortunately, we're out of session, so there's almost nothing we can do. The governor's put together a program for food, collection and to help the food pantries and so forth. But while we're out of session, there's just not much we can do.
Murphy says based solely on turnout, he can see the rising need, adding he will likely have one again next week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It is 6:05.
Hey, look, we can't control what happens in Washington, D.C., but we can certainly control what happens in our cities and our communities.
That is Dr. Ronald Griffin, COO for Betty Jean Kerr People's Health Centers, tells KMOX they'll be providing 100 hot meals at People's Health Center on Delmar today from 11 to 2.
In Missouri, there are 600,000 recipients of SNAP benefits, and of that, 300,000 are children. Dr. Griffin says the People's Health Center also operates a food pantry 5 days per week.
Every other Friday, we do a food giveaway from 10 to 12 at our 5701 Delmar campus. Every Thursday, we have the Metro Mart that comes in. We incentivize folks and we give them vouchers to get fresh fruits and vegetables. This is something that we do on an everyday basis.
But Dr. Griffin says because of the overwhelming numbers that will be affected by the uncertainty with SNAP benefits, it will take more than the People's Health Center to sound the alarm. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A pursuit of a stolen vehicle ended when it crashed into a building in the Baden neighborhood. Right next door to the building was a St. Louis City firehouse, which, according to Fire Captain Anthony Hesse, sounded like a building collapse.
So we put the fire out, and of course, our primary concern was the patient that was on scene. Made sure there was nobody else in the vehicle.
The driver was the lone occupant of the vehicle, and according to city police, was transported from the scene with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The building suffered serious structural damage, but the only injury inside was due to cooking oil being splashed on a chef.
KMOX political analyst John Hancock says his family has been worrying about a close family friend who was followed to work and arrested by ICE.
He's going to be deported. No hearing. Going to have to sign his deportation orders. He's going to have to sign so that his youngest child, who doesn't have a passport, can get a because you need both parents' signatures. And this young woman is going to have to, break that news if she hasn't already.
Hancock says the man believed he had all the paperwork to prove he was here legally. They don't know where he will be sent, and they've received no information from ICE. He'll likely never be able to return to this country and to his wife and 2 small children.
A young daughter of the Staunton, Illinois restaurant owner detained by ICE last week spoke at a community rally Sunday in Macoupin County. Here's part of what Amy had to say.
My dad, he's a great person and he should not be in that terrible place.
A big crowd took part in the event to show support for 41-year-old Ismael Sandoval and his family. ICE released a statement saying Sandoval was being held because he had illegally crossed the border with Mexico several times almost 20 years ago. ICE also said he had a DUI conviction in St. Clair County in 2008. Supporters are trying to prevent Sandoval from being deported. They include Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski.
The business desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Spirit Airlines will no longer fly out of Lambert Airport after January 8th. The troubled carrier is discontinuing service as well out of Milwaukee, Phoenix, and Rochester in what it says is part of their efforts to better position the airline for the future. It's currently the 7th largest carrier at Lambert, but Spirit has struggled with 2 bankruptcies in less than a year, furloughs, and cuts to their workforce.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 6:08. I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett with Washington University School of Medicine and Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Bennett, thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Tell us about Siteman's mammography van and what it offers to the community.
The van is a really important of our mammography program, and it goes out into the community to meet people where they are physically located for those people that are not able to travel to one of our sites. It goes throughout the community. It goes to both corporate sites and also to some of our harder to reach communities. And the idea is to provide equal access to quality care for everybody.
Dr. Bennett, thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome.
To see the upcoming schedule of the van, just go to Siteman's website or call 314-747-7222. Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's at 6:10 get you caught up on traffic and weather on this beautiful morning. It is going to be a really nice couple of days. We'll have details on that after we check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, road work is the issue in downtown. It's not a fun morning. Yesterday morning, you got through the rush hour before they closed those left lanes on westbound 5564 between 3rd Street and the Poplar Street Bridge, but they're closed now. And they will be through, I believe it's Friday afternoon at 3 or 3:30 is when they hope to have this road work wrapped up. And again, through Thursday afternoon, they're still going to have the lane restrictions eastbound 5570 between 64 and 203. So yesterday afternoon, traffic was jammed both ways, and I'll expect that again through Thursday. But the morning stuff is going to be like this through Friday, so just plan accordingly. Westbound 64 is jammed west of 25th Street to 3rd Street, and 5570 jams just immediately west of 203 into that construction zone. Seeing several slow points on eastbound 70, Warrenton in through the Forestell area in that construction area as well. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of sun and clouds today, a warm breeze this afternoon, high 72. It'll be breezy this evening, then clear to partly cloudy overnight, though just 54. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with highs approaching 70. Cooler for Thursday with partly sunny skies and a high of 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's a clear sky, 41 in Florissant, 42 in St. Peters, clear 41 downtown at the Arch. The weather is sponsored by Allstate.
Sorry.
Hey, you know
I was
what?
eager to jump back in there.
We're all excited. We're well caffeinated. We're good to go. And Allstate's excited. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate First. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate First for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12, and today is a municipal election day in Missouri. So the polls are open from 6 this morning until 7 tonight. There are ballot questions in the Melville and Rockwood school districts, and there are local governments that are having some referenda up for votes, including Clayton, Ladue, Bellefontaine, Neighbors, Creve Coeur, and Veneta Park.
The Baldwin Police Department is releasing more information about a ruckus outside Sky Zone Saturday night involving dozens of young people. According to police, Sky Zone oversold tickets to an event and had to close the doors due to capacity issues. That's when people still outside got unruly. Several people committed property damage, and at least one person fired off a shot. Anyone with video footage or information is asked to call Baldwin Police.
A multi-million-dollar effort underway to recruit and train early childhood caregivers and educators in Missouri.
University of Missouri's Department of Human Development and Family Studies Chair Brenda Lohman says the shortage of early childhood workers is far-reaching.
Out of our 115 counties, 78 of those counties are designated as what we call child care deserts.
She says almost all Missouri counties need more infant and toddler caregivers. The MU Child Development Lab is using $3 million in grant funding to recruit preteens and teens into the profession and provide training for other students who wish to gain certifications and or complete degree programs to run their own childcare business. Sue Danielson, Missouri Net.
How much protein should you be getting in your diet?
I encourage people to make sure that they have some form of protein at each meal.
That's Michelle Wilson, a registered dietitian with Brands Nutrition.
A visual reference might be at least the size of your fist or the size of a baseball or the size of a palm of your hand or a deck of cards.
It all depends on if it's plant-based protein.
So your meat would be more of the palm of your hands or deck of cards. but the fist or baseball might be if you're a vegetarian and you're getting that from beans or tofu or something like that.
Beyond that, Wilson says it might be a little excessive.
So if we are getting a lot of protein, then it can cause a little bit of a strain on our kidneys, especially when we start incorporating the supplement versions of protein, because then it can get pretty dense and quite a bit of.
Is the 2025 Salvation Army Red Kettle Campaign chair for Greater St. Louis. She says it's an honor to lead this year's donation drive.
Someone can be someone who donates or volunteers to the Salvation Army. And the very next year, that person may need a little bit of assistance, whether it's Christmas gifts or, a help with a place to stay.
Mark Scores encourages everyone to consider taking a bell ringing shift. You can sign up at registertoring.com.
We have Amy on our hockey coverage this season for KMOX Sports, and I'm sure she was excited, as Blues fans were, to finally see a win. The Blues were down 2-0 to Edmonton. They climbed back 2-2. It was 2-2 with 1:32 to go. They're not going to send this to overtime again, are they? No, says Pia Suter on FanDuel Sports Network Midwest.
Suter walks it in, drives the goal. Blues pick it up. Shen wraps it near wing, straight away. Pariko on. Rebound, they score! Suter on the doorstep. Tucks it home. 3-2 Blues.
Chris Kerber with the call. They get it done. The Blues win it. Wow, what a relief. They take the lead with 1:23 to go, and they win the game 3-2 over the Oilers. So good defensively that Connor McDavid did not have a shot on goal last night. That is a big improvement as the Blues snap out of this 7-game skid and knock off the Oilers 3-2. Meanwhile, at Chaffetz Arena, college basketball is back, and so is Robbie Avila.
Dribbles and dishes. Robbie wide open for three. Bang! He got it. Yes. It's starting to wear down. Nobody recovered on that.
That's right. Pick and pop. That's a tough ass. Because Kellen, you got a freight train coming down.
Absolutely. The athletes, the size of SLU just wore down SEMO, and the final score was 92-67 last night at Chaffetz. And you know what? The Billikens really didn't play all that great. Robbie Avila led the way with 18 points. He had 11 rebounds. Deion Brown had a double-double, 11 points and 11 rebounds. But Coach Josh Schertz thinks the sloppiness will need to be cleaned up.
When you address it, you let the guys know what you think. Is there a way to address it in practice, or is it more of a mental coaching?
I think you attribute it to what it is. Like I said, opening night.
Yeah.
Big crowd, first time. These guys know there's a lot of expectation and excitement about this team. They want to, certainly play in a way that is representative of what we have. And, I think we'll come back to work. We'll look at it. I think a lot of it was just stuff that was out of character. If it was something that, there are things that we have to do better that can be addressed in practice. Turning the ball over too much. That's been a theme in the two exhibitions and this. So that's an issue. Fouling way too much. That's been a theme. Yeah. So those are not things that are like, hey, those are not nerves. That's just I got to do a better job coaching our guys. Right. I got to do a better job coaching our guys. Now some of the turnovers were insanely ridiculous things that falling down. I mean, I felt bad for the cheerleaders, the band. I mean, we might have taken somebody's head off. So we're going to, so we got to give them football helmets. I mean, it's going to be a whole thing when we come out here if we're going to keep doing that. So
it was a wild game. Good basketball team, though. Billikens win at 92-67 over SEMO. Mizzou went on the road, beat Howard 88-67. And number 17, Illinois, had no problem knocking off Jackson State in Champaign, 113-55. Southern Illinois topped McKendree, 83-42. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Remember when they used to ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" At Bank of America, we ask every day, "What would you like the power to do?" When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It is 6:20, and Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we certainly got traffic for Illinois drivers, unfortunately, Debbie, and that's not going to change for the rest of the week because, they started over the weekend doing eastbound road work, 5570 between 64 and 203, with lane restrictions there around the clock. That goes through Thursday afternoon, and then yesterday morning, they shut down the left pair of lanes westbound 5564 between 3rd Street and the Poplar Street Bridge. They'll be out there westbound through Friday afternoon. So the end result is afternoons are going to be a real mess, and in the mornings, look at what we've got already. You're jammed on 64 approaching 25th Street over to 3rd Street, and 5570 jams at 203. There's more volume in other areas. Northbound 55, the right lanes are a little busy. Butler Hill, Mattis, Bayless up to a River to Pear. And we've got some heavy traffic on southbound 61. It looks like we have an incident midway between P and Wentzville Parkway because it's jammed through that stretch. Eastbound 70 from Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area, and then east of Wright City into Forestell backed up as road work is ongoing there as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center, brought to you by Moolah Shriners Center.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Hello, everyone. I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2 and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
Weather forecast for today, just absolutely perfect. Breezy, warm, high 72, lots of sun. Breezy this evening, clear to partly cloudy, low 54. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and breezy with a high approaching 70. It's 42 right now.
The news continues at 6:22. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. Cheney died Monday of complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease.
Dick Cheney will be remembered as one of the most influential vice presidents in history. He was a leading advocate of the Iraq War and the war on terrorism. In the 2004 campaign, he assumed the traditional vice presidential attack dog role as he criticized Democrat John Kerry for calling for a more sensitive war on terrorism.
A sensitive war will not destroy the evil men who killed 3,000 Americans.
Cheney became a lightning rod for criticism for linking Iraq and al-Qaeda and for insisting Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. The former congressman, White House chief of staff, and defense secretary was a key architect of President George W. Bush's policies. Cammie McCormick, CBS News, Washington.
We are now looking at flames shooting out of the north side of number 1 World Trade Center, but there are at least some windows.
History will recall Vice President Dick Cheney's key role in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. In those uncertain times, he was often at undisclosed locations to protect presidential succession. Almost a year after the Day of Terror, he spoke at a ceremonial congressional session in New York.
We know that our freedom came at a very high price. We have no intention now of letting it slip away.
Cheney helped develop a new national security strategy following 9/11. He was a hardliner, especially on the eventual Iraq war policy that the Bush administration linked to the terror threat.
CBS's Peter Mayer reporting. It's election day for millions of Americans. Key races in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia could be a bellwether for what to expect in next year's midterm elections. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill with more on the governor races.
In New Jersey, the race for governor is tightening between Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy officer,
When we vote,
and Trump-backed Republican former State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli.
This election is all about change.
In several posts on social media, President Trump urged voters to vote Republican in New Jersey and Virginia, that state poised to elect its first woman governor in a race between former Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
Abigail is for nonsense, but I am for common sense.
In Virginia, we need a governor who will stand up against the chaos.
An off-year election that could give both parties a window into the future. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Californians are voting for Proposition 50, a ballot measure that aims to redraw the state's congressional districts to favor Democrats.
At least 6 people have died in a listeria outbreak linked to prepared pasta meals.
The frozen meals supplied by Nate's Fine Foods were sold at major grocery chains across the country, with names like Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine Alfredo and Sprouts Farmers Market's smoked mozzarella pasta salad. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Schaffner says they were pre-cooked meals.
They're just warmed up. That warming up is not sufficient to kill all of the listeria.
In all, 27 people have been sickened in 18 states. Investigators are still searching for the source of the outbreak. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Controversial figure once at the center of the professional sports steroid epidemic has died.
Victor Conti, the architect of a scheme to provide undetectable performance-enhancing drugs to professional athletes, has died at age 75. The athletes included baseball stars Barry Bonds, Jason Giambi, and Olympic track champion Marion Jones.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've never even had a discussion with Barry Bonds about steroids.
A sports nutrition company Conti founded said in a social media post that he died Monday. The federal government's investigation into the Conti-founded Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative led to the convictions of Jones, elite sprint cyclist Tammy Thomas, and former NFL defensive lineman Dana Stubblefield.
There are higher and better uses of taxpayer dollars than to, continue this series of trophy hunting expeditions.
Conti expressed regret for his role in the scandal.
I've decided to direct my knowledge, experience, and determination toward making sports more honorable.
I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
It is 6:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Eileen talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
A lot of gross kitchen in the beginning, crack formica, bad floor, ripped linoleum, and I decided to heck with this. I want it done. And I found an ad from 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I called him. Dave brought all of his stuff. We talked about what I wanted. I chose the materials. It was very easy. He came in, he did what he said. They did it in the time frame that they said, at the cost that they said. His crew was delightful. We came home, everything had been cleaned up. I would say people are silly not to do 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. I just love it. It's just like I moved into a new home.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well,
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Wheeler. Struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain? Game Day Men's Health has you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more, all in a relaxed environment that's like being in the man cave. At Game Day, you get a free testosterone test and consultation all in just an hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with 3 area locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 6:30, clear sky, 41 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, 70 east of Mid Rivers Mall Drive. It sounds like there's a tire or a wheel in the roadway, so just be careful there. Building volume on these highways. Northbound 55, the right lanes are busy from Butler Hill up to 270, and again from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pears. Slow north 270, north of 55 up to Gravois, kind of slogging along, and it's heavy again from Doherty Ferry most of the way up to Ladue. Southbound's okay there. We had that crash southbound 61 south of P about midway down to Wentzville Parkway. Looks like they've cleared it, but there are delays now south of W into that general vicinity. It's not a jam like it was earlier. Eastbound 70 east of Warrenton into the Wright City rest area, and then it's backed up again from Wright City into Forest Hill. And of course downtown, the biggest jam, and the thing that started earliest, 55-64 there, bumper to bumper approaching 3rd Street where the left lanes are closed. 64 is a solid jam back past 25th Street. 55-70 jams as you approach 203. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Breezy and warm today with a high of 72 degrees. Lots of sun tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 54. And then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and breezy again with a high approaching 70. Right now, it's 41 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The St. Louis County Public Health Department and the Integrated Health Network are giving out hot meals today to families impacted by SNAP funding disruptions. Distribution is from 11 to 2 at 5 locations in the county and in St. Louis City. They include the County Health Building in Berkeley, the Family Care Center on Holly Hills, as well as Affinia Healthcare on Biddle.
The other 2 locations are on the Betty Jean Kerr People's Health Center on Delmar and Care STL Health on MLK Drive. In addition to the 500 meals, there are 900 cans of baby formula available to those who need it.
To help Missourians stay safe as daylight grows shorter and temperatures drop, the State Emergency Management Agency and the National Weather Service are teaming up for Winter Weather Preparedness Week. Kevin Deitch with the National Weather Service says each day highlights a different safety theme to help people get ready for winter.
Today we're talking about winter storm products. So, what's the difference between a winter storm watch, a blizzard warning, a winter weather advisory? As we head into Tuesday, we're going to talk about snow and how to stay safe in snow, how to drive in snow. Then we're going to get into ice storms and ice safety.
According to preliminary data from the Missouri State Highway Patrol, winter weather contributed to more than 3,300 crashes across the state last year, resulting in 819 injuries and 10 deaths.
November has arrived, and that means Missouri's cold weather rule is now in effect. I'm Michael Calhoun. That means investor-owned utility companies cannot disconnect electricity or gas from homeowners for not paying their bills if the temperature is forecast to drop below freezing in the subsequent days. Forrest Gossett with the Missouri Public Service Commission says the time window within the rule was updated by state lawmakers last year.
It was part of Senate Bill 4 that passed during this last session of the General Assembly and was signed into law by Governor Kehoe. Previously, under the Missouri Public Service Commission rule, it was 24 hours. So that's an enhancement for consumers to go to 72 hours.
Missouri's cold weather rule remains in effect through March 31st of the spring. Government-owned utilities and co-ops are not subject to the rule, though Gossett says many of them have their own versions.
We have a bunch of ladybugs who have gathered on our windows here. You see them all?
Oh, I do see them.
They're all hanging out, watching the show.
I think I have, what are they? Are they stink bugs that have been hanging all over my garage in the sun?
Stink bugs, when it starts to warm up, they like to soak in the sun, and they like to sneak into the house.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you can grab them. They won't do anything to you. Just to put them in your hand.
Sort of sweep them away.
Yeah, don't they stink.
Yeah, they do.
And you just toss them right back outside.
Actually, those ladybugs or Asian lady beetles, if they die on your windowsill, they stink too.
They do. You want to use the care there as well. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next at 6:34.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer, Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
It is 6:35 and time for your money report. It's sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The Florida businessmen who founded Hooters and sold it off over 2 decades ago have now reacquired the brand. They plan what they call a re-Hooterization of the chain. They're promising a simplified menu, a renewed focus on local communities, and server uniforms that return to the original look. The new menu will bring back Hooters' ham-breaded wing recipe, as well as salads made with in-house dressings. Turning to trading, the global stock rally hitting a big speed bump this morning. Futures are taking a tumble. Dow futures are down 435 points. S&P futures dropping 1.2%. Keep in mind, the S&P 500 has been soaring since early April. And Hims & Hers Health is in talks with Novo Nordisk to sell its forthcoming obesity pill on the telehealth site. Hims and Novo had a partnership, but it ended in June after Novo accused Hims of using deceptive marketing to sell copycat versions of its weight loss shot, Wegovy. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, let's just talk for a moment. This is especially for those of you who are caring for an older loved one. I've been telling you about Evertrue Anywhere Care, which is trusted in-home caregiving by the folks that you know and trust, formerly known as Lutheran Senior Services. Yeah, they can just be such a blessing because it's like a one-stop shopping phone number. You need help with housework, you need help with skilled nursing care. They also have Evertrue Guide. This is a free program that connects families with dementia care navigators. So it's personalized plans for your loved one, caregiver education, 24/7 access to resources, training, support groups. It's all designed to help your loved one stay safely at home for as long as possible. And yes, I said Evertrue Guide is a free program. So to see if your loved one qualifies, just call Evertrue at 314-218-6661 or online at evertrueguide.org. The team at Evertrue Guide listens, understands, and they build a plan that brings you peace of mind right to your door. evertrueguide.org.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form, and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
And Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL. Only on KMOX.
We are 5 minutes away from sports at 6:45. Right now, let's go to Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the big jam's obviously downtown, Tom. This traffic reports service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. That road work going on westbound 5564 at 3rd Street where the left lanes are closed. They closed them yesterday morning after the morning rush hour, so this is the first morning you're dealing with it, but it'll be this way for the rest of the week. In the mornings, they hope to have it wrapped up by 3 or 3:30 Friday afternoon. Westbound 64 is jammed midway between 111 and 25th Street to 3rd Street. 5570 is almost midway between 111 and 203 into that restriction. If you're on northbound 55, the right lanes are slow. Butler Hill, Mattis, all lanes back up Union Road to River to Pear. Busy on North 270 from 55 to Gravois, 44 to Manchester. Southbound 270 is a little heavy at Ladue. Southbound 61, we'll call it north of P down to 64, just slow the whole way through. Southbound 79, you've got slow going coming down from, at least Highway Y. I guess it's a little north of Highway Y, really. So maybe Foreman Road down to North Main Street. And eastbound 70, a little slow down at Warrenton. And then you're backed up. Some of it's bumper to bumper initially, but Wright City into Forestell due to road work is pretty congested at this time also. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
It is 6:41, and it looks like a beautiful morning out there. Joe Lundberg is our AccuWeather meteorologist. Tom and I were just discussing the insects enjoying the beautiful warm sunshine that are all over the window this morning.
They're going to have a rude shock here, I think, when we get to the end of the weekend, as a big cold front's going to come blasting its way through the area Saturday night. And it's going to be a lot colder Sunday and Monday. But today, it's going to be a warm, almost summer-like day in some respects. Breezy, with sunshine, some clouds, and a high gets up to 72. Breezy through the evening hours, clear to partly cloudy overnight, mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, still kind of warm with highs approaching 70. Nice day Thursday, partly sunny, just a little cooler, high 64. Now, a front will move through the area to Thursday night and early Friday, and with it, clouds and some showers. I don't think it rains an awful lot with that system. Then clouds give way to more sunshine later Friday with a high of 68. Second system moves through on Saturday. The storm will go by to our north, so we'll see clouds, some sun, and maybe a shower with a high of 68. But the front attached to that means business. It's going to be a lot colder Sunday and Monday. We may stay in the 40s both of those days. 43 right now at St. Peter's, 45 in Florissant, sunny 47 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
CBS News special report. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. His family says he died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
He once summed up his working relationship with President George W. Bush.
I might go in and argue a different point of view with him, but I'll do it privately. And when he's made his decision, then I'll salute smartly and support the policy.
Despite that understatement, Cheney was one of the most influential vice presidents in U.S. history, shaping the Bush administration Iraq war strategy while affecting the energy agenda and other crucial policies.
When Cheney, President Bush, and Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld decided to invade Iraq in 2003, they sent Secretary of State Colin Powell to the UN to make the case for the war.
Mr. Rumsfeld and Vice President Cheney would take positions into the president that the rest of us weren't aware of.
In recent years, Cheney had become a vocal critic of President Trump. Dick Cheney dead at 84. CBS News Special Report. I'm Michael Wallace.
A plan to build homes along a flood-prone area near Arnold is getting some pushback from neighbors. Imperial-based Above and Below Properties has submitted plans to build 7 homes on a 43-acre parcel near the Merrimack River. As the Post-Dispatch reports, between that site and the river is the remains of Holzer Park, a subdivision that flooded often and was abandoned years ago.
A neighbor of the Merrimack Bottom Road development says that parcel has been underwater many times and says he has plenty of video of it. Residents of nearby Suisun Woods also worry this development will push the river into their neighborhood. Neither the developer nor county officials who reviewed the project responded to questions about it.
St. Luke's will host a groundbreaking ceremony today to celebrate the start of construction of its new St. Luke's Medical Building in St. Peter's. KMOX's health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
St. Luke's officials say this new building marks an important milestone in expanding access to high-quality, patient-centered healthcare in St. Charles County. The new facility will offer primary care, labs, specialist rotations, and imaging services to better fully serve patients closer to their home. The future site is located east of the intersection of Spencer and Mexico Roads, adjacent to McDonald's and Menards in St. Peter's. It's scheduled for opening in the fall of next year. On August 1st, St. Luke's closed its De Pere Hospital, but is keeping its 493-bed St. Luke's Chesterfield Hospital open, along with more than 30 outpatient centers. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
A big opening night at Chaifetz Arena for the St. Louis Billikens. Billikens were a little sloppy out of the gate, maybe a little tight. Bright lights, new faces. New first game of the season, playing Southeast Missouri. But when you looked up at the scoreboard, it happened quickly. The Billikens can pile them on fast. Let's take a listen on KMOX.
Takes it, lobs it, it stains, top of the key. Now for Green, for 3.
Come on, Trey, give me one.
Bang! Trey Green! It's a Trey.
Yeah, that's right. That's a 5-point possession there.
Quentin Jones, hesitation move. Beat the big man, lays it up and in. Whistle foul. Count the basket. Took him to Q school.
Yes, he did.
Trey Green into the front court. 61-43, wants a 3. Bang! A Trey.
Yes. Trey Green unlocking it with a couple of goals.
And just like that, it was 64-43. Trey Green had 9 points. Billikens had 5 players in double figures, led by Robbie Avila, 18 points and 11 rebounds. Dion Brown, their new guard, transfer from Boston College. He had a double-double as well, 11 points and 11 rebounds for Josh Schertz, beating a good team out of the Ohio Valley in SEMO.
I think some of those things will clean themselves up as we relax. And we did enough good things to win. I mean, I'll say this. I do think SEMO, I think Brad does a great job with them.
Yes.
I think they'll be in the mix to win the OVC, no question.
I talked about that.
I would be shocked if they're not at the end, that this team doesn't win 20 games and has a chance to cut the nets down and be in the NCAA tournament. I think that's a credit. They've got good players. They're extremely well coached, very physical. It's a good basketball team. So, again, to win by 25 where you didn't feel like, man, you threw your best punch. And I told them in there, like last year, if that happened where, Paul has 4 fouls, 18 minutes to go, and Amari has 4 fouls. And I mean, we would have been, up and without a paddle, last year.
The much different team now. They are deep and they are talented, very athletic. The Billikens win at 92-67 over SEMO. They'll play again on Thursday night against Chicago State. Missouri went on the road and beat Howard 88-67. 17th ranked Illinois topped Jackson State 113-55 in Champaign. And Southern Illinois won at home, defeating McKendree 83-42. The Blues played at home, and for once, it was a positive result. Take a listen, FanDuel Sports Network Midwest.
Fault to Thomas, needing a goal, down by 2, late in the second. 16 minutes gone, 4 left. Thomas looking for a pass to Fault, far wing, wired, score! One-timer, Dvorsky. First goal, first point in the National Hockey League. And he's got the Blues on the board with hugs and smiles.
Dalibor Dvorsky, Chris Kerber with the call there. FanDuel Sports Network Midwest 2-1 was the score. Blues scored 2 more. Pia Suter with 1:23 to go had the game winner. 3-2. The Blues snap a 7-game losing skid. Coach Jim Montgomery on the Dvorsky goal.
You know, the power play came through. Great job by the kid, cranking it home. What a shot. That's I mean, you get your first goal, and that's one you want to talk about. Yeah, I went bar down on a one-timer. Pretty cool.
Good moment for the Blues as they beat the Oilers 3-2. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
It's over!
There when St. Louis celebrated.
And the St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions for the first time in franchise history.
A former captain, Bernie, you've always wanted the Stanley Cup in the city of St. Louis, but now that it's here, what can you say about the group of guys that did it?
Oh, my God. This was the ultimate team. Going to go down as one of the greatest stories, maybe, of all time in the NHL.
Petro, how does it feel knowing that your name's going to forever be on this?
Wow. It's crazy to think about. I think it's all starting to sink in right now as I'm walking down right now. It's pretty amazing.
This is only going to be one of many Stanley Cups that we win here because we bleed blues.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next, it's an ice storm. Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports, here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. The KMOX Storm Center, sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:51 in time for an update on the weather and your ride in. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, jam traffic downtown for Illinois drivers, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Poly Agency on 64. You're jammed midway between 111 and 25th Street, 5570 midway between 111 and 203, all the way over to 3rd Street where those left lanes are closed from there to the Poplar Street Bridge. Just be prepared. Musial Veterans Bridge looks good once you get to it. Of course, there are other options. Other bridges are in good shape. If you're on northbound 55, the right lane is north of Butler Hill, a little slow. Bayless up the river to Pears, heavy. North 270 from 55 to Tesson Ferry. Sappington through Gravois, 44 to Manchester. Clayton Road up to Ladue. Just slow stretches. Slow stretches on eastbound 70, primarily from Wright City into Forestville. A little busy right around Highway Z and approaching 370. Southbound 61, north of Highway P down to Wentzville Parkway. There's a couple of slowdowns onto 64 to the Boulevard. After that, it really doesn't look that bad. Southbound 79, midway between Dyer and Dalbo Road, I guess, down to North Main Street. Again, just basically a slowdown for you there. In a world of cookie-cutter health plans, the Poly Agency is proud to represent coverage that's tailor-made to fit your needs. The Poly Agency puts the sure in insurance. For a free quote, call 636-222-2149. That's 636-222-2149. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny and breezy today, high 72, low 54 tonight. Sunny, high 70 tomorrow. It's 42 right now.
It's 6:52, and KMOX on-air personality Amy Markscores says being named the 2025 Salvation Army Red Kettle Campaign Chair for the Greater St. Louis region is an incredible honor and privilege.
The Salvation Army has been such a big part of my life since I was a little kid. My brother
would call the Salvation Army volunteer the God bless you man, because he would always, you put the money in and the God bless you man would say, God bless you. And I love that the Salvation Army is so local.
This year's Red Kettle campaign kickoff is Saturday, November 22nd. That's also when the big tree lighting ceremony takes place in Keener Plaza. Ameren is this year's presenting sponsor.
We had Gold Glove winner Mason Wynn on the Gas House Gang yesterday. Tells us his knee has improved and he should be ready for spring trainings.
He's feeling great. I had surgery and, I was doing PT the next day. I've been going hard on it, just trying to get back right. Jogged for the first time a couple days ago. That was amazing.
Meanwhile, yesterday, a giant Rawlings Gold Glove was unveiled, and it'll be hoisted up to the top of the Rawlings headquarters in Westport. The 30-foot glove marks Rawlings' commitment to a stronger presence and footprint in its hometown since 1887.
The world's top chess players have been competing in St. Louis for the past month. The 2025 Clutch Chess Champions Showdown has been taking place at the St. Louis Chess Club in the Central West End, and the winner is Magnus Carlsen. Carlsen competed against world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura, number 3 Fabiano Caruana, and reigning world champ Gukesh Damaraju. It was an 18-game double round-robin format with a prize fund of $412,000.
That workplace lunch you've been enjoying could be a real budget buster. WBBM's Rob Hart.
It's not just lunch. It can be a real drain on your budget. A survey from the food-focused tech platform Easy Cater found that Americans are now spending an average of $108 a week on workplace lunches. That's up from $88 a year ago. Ed Jertson, certified financial planner and founder of the Engage Wealth Group in Chicago, tells the Noon Business Hour that your brown bag lunch could help you accomplish other financial goals.
We all need to eat, but we all don't need to eat at that cost and that price point. So whatever monies you're spending, eating out is okay, but what does that mean in terms of your long-term financial stability and reaching those independent goals, those financial independent goals?
Rob Hart, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes to, Adam Williams from your friends, Richard Weiss, Tony Messenger, Kathy Maupin, Michelle Maxwell in O'Fallon, Illinois, and happy birthday wishes going out to Brad Young.
This is the best birthday ever.
The estates at Post Farms, fast-growing area of O'Fallon, Missouri, an exciting new community that McKelvey Homes discovered, combining small-town charm with big city convenience. Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes, just down the street from the shops at Hawk Ridge, minutes from the heritage of Hawk Ridge Golf Club. This neighborhood, the estates at Post Farms, offers easy access to shopping, dining, recreation, top-tier schools in the Wentzville School District, and conveniently located near highways 364, 64, and 70. Residents can enjoy quick and easy commutes to major business hubs, medical centers, regional attractions. This is what McKelvey does. They find the best home sites, and they build the best homes. They actually are Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. They were born in 1898, and here they go, still very strong heading into 2026. McKelvey Homes, move up to McKelvey, McKelveyHomes.com.
IRS. You have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Let's check in with Roger Brand at 658 in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have jam traffic downtown, of course. Westbound 64 is jammed. I think we'll call it west of 111 to 3rd Street, 5570 east of 203, maybe midway between 111 and 203, but pretty solid jam to 3rd Street where you lose those left lanes to the Poplar. That repair work underway now through Friday afternoon. If you're on northbound 55 on the Missouri side, sort of busy. Butler Hill to 270, Bayless up to River to Pears, slow. Ramping on to North 270 from 55 is backed up. Otherwise, it's just slow from basically 44 up to Ladue. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway on to 64 at the Boulevard's the busiest part. It's a little slow approaching K through 94 Research Park. Eastbound 70, K to TR Hughes, 370 through Cave Springs and across the Blanchette Bridge slow. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's that time of year. What you need to know about the cold weather rule.
This only applies to investor-owned.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Maria Aquino with a health alert from the State Health Department about a product that's being pushed as a natural substance.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Partly to mostly sunny today, breezy and warm for the afternoon, high 72.
Takes it, lobs it, it stains, top of the key. Now for Green, for three.
Come on, Trey, give me one.
Bang! Trey Green!
The Billikens on opening night take care of business against SEMO. Mizzou and Illinois both played. The Blues played as well, and you know what? They got to win. We're going to get all into it at 7:15. At the Tone, it's 7 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Dick Cheney, the 46th Vice President of the United States, has died. President George W. Bush chose Cheney as his running mate in 2000. Correspondent Major Garrett looks back.
This election is about real choices, that we are talking about the future of our nation.
The bitter presidential contest was decided in Bush and Cheney's favor by a 5-4 decision of the Supreme Court. The September 11th, 2001 attacks were the defining moment for the new administration. As the U.S. went to war in Afghanistan, Cheney also urged military action against Iraq.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction.
Baghdad fell just 3 weeks after the U.S. invasion in 2003, but the alleged weapons of mass destruction were never found, and American forces began a long, deadly occupation.
CBS's Nancy Cordes.
He really was a standard bearer of conservatism in his time. He was someone who believed in a muscular foreign policy and the use of American strength abroad.
His family says Dick Cheney died from complications of pneumonia, cardiac, and vascular disease. He was 84. This is Election Day, and Californians will vote on Governor Newsom's plan designed to help Democrats win control of the House. UVA political analyst Larry Sabato.
If Prop 50 fails, it probably drives a stake into the Democratic movement to balance the gerrymandering that Republicans have organized in many of their states, starting with Texas.
New York City's race for mayor pits a self-described Democratic socialist against a disgraced former governor. Poll shows Zohran Mamdani in the lead.
Let us leave everything out there on the field, my friends. Let us do it together.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo.
We need a mayor who can stand up to Donald Trump, who can get the funding that New York deserves, who can make sure the National Guard does not come to New York.
Trump has endorsed Cuomo. Day 35 of the government shutdown, and the Trump administration says it'll use a contingency fund to pay out partial SNAP food benefits that ran out Saturday. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says not good enough.
The courts must make sure that full benefits are restored.
A shot at a plot at the famed Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. CBS's Vicky Barker.
30 lucky citizens hoping to share posthumous real estate with the likes of rock star Jim Morrison, singer Edith Piaf, or playwright Oscar Wilde will be chosen by lottery. And just one catch, the winners have to renovate a crumbling gravestone or memorial in exchange for a plot beside it, potentially costing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
It is 7:04, and right now we've got cloudy skies and 42 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A standoff that began Monday night in Arnold, and something we continue to monitor from our partners at Fox 2. It continues at this hour. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department says a wanted suspect is refusing law enforcement attempts to get him to come out of a home on Crosswinds Drive. That person may be armed. The sheriff has not said what crime the suspect is accused of committing.
There's a health warning from the Missouri Health and Senior Services Department about a potent opioid-like substance called 7-OH, increasingly found in unregulated consumer products.
Dr. Heidi Miller is the chief medical officer for DHSS. She says people, especially parents, need to be aware of the dangers of 7-OH, which can be sold at gas stations, convenience and vape stores, and online.
These products are being marketed as being, quote, natural, when in fact, the isolated 7-hydroxy compound is a concentrated, either entirely synthesized or semi-synthetic compound, which is isolated and as psychoactive.
Miller says 7-OH is dangerous for adults and absolutely for children and pregnant women. It is at least 13 times more potent than morphine, and it is being marketed as providing stimulation or sometimes pain relief. Dr. Miller says 7-OH has never been tested on humans, and there are increasing calls to poison centers, even occasional deaths. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
After a seemingly quick shift from summer to fall, winter in Missouri and the snow, sleet, and ice that come along with it could follow just as fast in the coming months. Kevin Deitch with the National Weather Service says he sees one big thing from year to year that catches Missourians off guard during the winter weather.
I think people sometimes just forget to take it slow. Leave a little bit earlier. When you're in snow or ice situations, you just don't have the traction that you normally would. So you need to keep a lot of space between you and the vehicle ahead of you. And you need to make sure to have that extra time and take a little bit slower on your way to and from work, school, or wherever you're headed.
The State Emergency Management Agency and the National Weather Service are teaming up for Winter Weather Preparedness Week this week. Each day highlights a different safety theme to help people get ready for winter.
From now through March 31st of next year, many of Missouri's utilities cannot disconnect service for non-payment whenever temperatures are forecast to drop below 32 degrees in the subsequent 72 hours. It's known as the cold weather rule. I'm Michael Calhoun. Forrest Gossett with the Public Service Commission says the rule doesn't apply to every utility in Missouri.
This only applies to investor-owned utilities, and it's across the board. Municipal utilities and co-ops are not covered by the cold weather rule because we at the Public Service Commission do not regulate those utilities. However, it's also important to note that many of those utilities do follow similar rules.
The time window for the cold weather rule was expanded this year from 24 to 72 hours before freezing temperatures are forecast to arrive.
As the status of SNAP funding remains uncertain, the need for community food drives is growing.
State Representative Jim Murphy is bringing back his food drives for the first time since the COVID years. He says after running out of food on day one, he plans to return again.
There's an absolute need here, and we're here to serve them.
Murphy says there isn't much more the state legislature can do to address the problem while out of session, but praises Mike Kehoe's action of shifting millions in funding to Missouri food banks. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Fewer people are now equity-rich homeowners, according to new data that number continues to drop as the number of homeowners underwater in their mortgages continues to rise.
Real estate data platform Adams says 46% were equity rich as of the third quarter of this year compared to 48% a year ago at this time. The number of seriously underwater homes up 2.8%. The biggest drop in equity-rich homes was in Florida, followed by Arizona, Colorado, and Georgia. The South has the most underwater properties. The Midwest has the highest equity rates.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Window specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community, proudly recognizing the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. Known as CASTLE, the agency is one of a network of community action agencies coming together to transition people out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. CASTLE serves 44,000 people in St. Louis County every year. Learn more about the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County at caastlc.org. That's caastlc.org.
This is Blake Trevunza, Commercial Relationship Manager at Busey. The Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, also known as CASTLE, helps people move from crisis to stability. With housing, food, health, legal aid, education, and more, CASTLE empowers families to break the cycle of poverty. Take action yourself and find out more about CASTLE, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt. I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them. What? Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean? I guess. Their gloves come off when they fight for you. Okay. I'm talking a settlement slapshot. Shouldn't we be talking about the game? Yeah, Dan. Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in at 7:10 with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door on the Illinois side, I think you know what to expect. This road work that started yesterday morning after the morning rush hour. So this is the first morning you're experiencing it, but we talked about it yesterday afternoon. It's going to be out there through Friday. Westbound 64 right now is jammed at 111, 5570, approaching 203 onto 64 3rd Street, where, again, those left lanes are closed, headed to the Poplar. Northbound 55, the right lanes are slow. Butler Hill to 270, Bales up to River to Pears, busy. North 270 from 55 up to Sappington, slow. Both sides of Gravois. Bogstown again at 44, but jams at Manchester. We have a crash in the Ladue construction zone. Looks like the left lane's blocked. So you're jammed from basically Manchester up to Ladue, southbound 270, all to Ladue, slowing for a look. Eastbound Highway 70, east of David Hochul Parkway into 64, slow around T.R. Hughes, around 370 and 5th Street into our city's busy. Southbound 61, Highway P, backed up down through Wentzville Parkway, slow onto 64 at the Boulevard, passing Winghaven after that. If you're traveling on east and westbound 64 around the Interbelt, at least that looks good. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
MOX AccuWeather, partly sunny today, breezy and warm this afternoon, high 72. It'll be breezy this evening, clear to partly cloudy overnight, low 54. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high approaching 70. Thursday, partly sunny, a bit cooler, high 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
44 in Florissant, 44 in St. Peters, sunny and 43 downtown at the Arch.
It is now 7:12, and the federal government shutdown is now affecting the Gateway Arch National Park. As of yesterday, all services at the facilities at the Arch are closed until further notice. They had been kept open during the shutdown due to private donations. The old courthouse downtown also closed, as it is a National Park Service property. The government shutdown is not affecting helicopter tour service and nearby riverboats.
Another full week of government shutdown appears to be likely with the Senate in session. Majority Leader Republican Senator John Thune once again blamed Democrats who are holding out for Republican commitments on health care issues.
The Teamsters Union and the American Federation of Government Employees, more traditionally
allies of Democrats, to be frank, have called for Congress to spare the American people further pain and to pass the clean continuing resolution.
Illinois Governor Pritzker is not apologizing for a directive to President Trump that critics say brings down the state's highest office. Here's Jeff Buckles.
This is all over a comment the governor made 2 weeks ago while addressing the Illinois Federation of Teachers Convention in Springfield. He was talking about the administration's attempts to dismantle the Federal Department of Education and send ICE agents into Chicago neighborhoods. And then he said this.
I'm sorry to be vulgar, but Donald Trump and his cronies can all the way off.
That got him a 30-second standing ovation. Now that it's been shared on social media, it's also gotten him criticism from some Republicans, including candidate Ted Dabrowski, who referred to it as gutter language that coarsens public discourse. During an appearance in Glen Ellen, the governor said it was how he felt in the moment.
All the limits are off with Donald Trump as president in terms of what our reactions are to what he has to say. He uses that word.
And he didn't seem to feel any need to apologize further.
Voters head to the polls for what is considered a major political test for both parties. The New York City mayoral race is being closely watched, with President Trump backing former political rival Andrew Cuomo in the race. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is watching that race from New York.
The president said Cuomo, a Democrat running as an independent after losing the primary, has a record of success. He's capable of it. Mamdani is not.
Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like his, we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that.
That's 34-year-old Zohran Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist who's focused on lowering costs in the big city.
Here in Missouri, the polls are open until 7 tonight. Several municipalities and school districts in our region have ballot questions.
Well, hallelujah. The Blues have won a hockey game, and this is how it sounded on FanDuel Sports Network Midwest.
Suter walks it in, drives the goal. Blues pick it up. Shen wraps it near wing, straight away. Perico on. Rebound, they score! Suter on the doorstep. Tucks it home. 3-2 Blues.
With a minute 23 to go. Chris Kerber with the call there. The Blues get the win 3-2 over the Edmonton Oilers. Head coach Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, it's really important. You know, I even during this slide, it may be hard to believe, but the belief in the room is that we're a good hockey team. And I talked about it earlier. There's a lot of analytics pointing. There's you know, with the expected goals for and against and what quadrant we were in the last 10 years, the quadrant we were in, they haven't missed the playoffs. So that's why we felt a lot of good things. Now that's just one win. Now we got to start building. We got to keep building, because I think that we can be a really good hockey team if we keep building it the right way.
Meanwhile, up the road at Chaffetz Arena, the Billikens blew out SEMO.
Dribbles and dishes. Robbie wide open for three. Bang! You got it.
Yes.
You're starting to wear down. Nobody recovered on that.
That's right. Pick and pop. That's a tough ass. Because Kellen, you got a freight train coming down.
92-67 was the final score in that one on KMOX. After the game, Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr. with Josh Schertz, who thought his team was a little sloppy. But first, he wanted to comment on Rammer's wardrobe.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Game one in the books, 92-67. Give us your overall thoughts, and then we'll break her down.
Well, first I got to say, year 40 for you, Rammer. And Earl, you see he brought out the A threads tonight.
Yes,
I mean, he looks like a GQ model.
Coach,
I mean, it's a good thing he's married. Otherwise, he wouldn't make it out of here alive.
Coach, it's opening night. What are we, farmers?
You look fantastic, Rammer. You
look
great.
This is for opening night.
All right. I'm going to see if he does this on a consistent, year 40. He's bringing out the A game.
I get back in the rocking chair here pretty quickly.
Told them I thought we played jittery. I thought we were a little bit, just a lot of bonehead plays, a lot of, transition advantage opportunities we didn't take advantage of, trying to hit home runs and throwing the ball all over the gym. Some really bonehead fouls. I don't want to make it. We played very hard. We played hard. It wasn't like we didn't play hard. We didn't play intelligently. And I think a lot of it was because we were trying so hard to impress, and by playing as hard as we did impress. So I would hope that that's the worst of us that you see.
That's really something to think that they played like that and won the game by 25 points. They didn't beat a team by 25 all last year. 92-67, they win over SEMO. Mizzou won at Howard 88-67. Southern Illinois topped McKendree 83-42. And then the one-ranked team in the area, Illinois, number 17 in the country, flexed its muscle at home against Jackson State, winning 113-55. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Zero Res, and they are my friends. They've been with me for 15 years plus. They've been to my house any number of times. Everyone in my personal life has used Zero Res, and they just love them. So whether you want to prep for the holidays or you want to clean up after the holidays, Thanksgiving perhaps, we can get you a great Zero Res deal during the month of November. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $139, $50 off your air duct cleaning. They are punctual. They are professional. They are uniform. They're in a marked vehicle. You're not ever going to feel sketchy about having Zero Res at your house. We also do area rugs. We also do couches and chairs. Don't forget about those air ducts and those dryer vents. Call 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Just make sure you tell them about the DGS or KMWEX so you get the great deal. 314-474-2020.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It makes a big difference who's actually interpreting the mammogram images that you get. We make sure that we have an expert team of breast radiologists that specialize in reading mammograms to be sure that we can get you the most accurate read possible.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey. That's Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, it looks like they cleared the crash from what I can tell. North 270 right in the work zone before you get to Ladue on North 270. North 270 backs up as you ramp on from 55 to Tesson Ferry. It's slow through Gravois, slow again at 44, but it jams Doherty Ferry most of the way up to Ladue right now. So it'll hopefully get a little bit better, but it's still going to remain slow because it's near the peak of the rush hour. Southbound 270, south of 364 down to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61, pockets of stop-and-go traffic approaching Highway P down onto 64th the Boulevard through Winghaven, 94 Research Park. Chesterfield Parkway west to Timberlake, westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley, starting to bog down. Eastbound 70, David Hochul Parkway into 70. From Bryan Road into T.R. Hughes, from 94 to the Blanchette Bridge. That's all just kind of busy. North 55, the right lane, slow north of Butler Hill. All lanes back up. Union Road overpass to River to Pear. And of course, downtown, our biggest headache, the road work 64 at 3rd Street, where the left lanes are closed, only the right lane's open. 64, a solid jam at 111. 5570 midway between 111 and 203 into that construction zone. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a nice day today. Really nice. Warm, 72 degrees, breezy, sunny. Tonight, low 54. Tomorrow, sunny and breezy with a high approaching 70. It's 43 downtown right now. Weather sponsored by the Bruning Law Firm. With decades of courtroom experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, the Bruning Law Firm has built a reputation for fighting hard and winning big. When your future is on the line, you want seasoned attorneys in your corner. Visit BruningLegal.com today.
CBS News special report. The 46th Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, has died. He was 84. His family says he died of complications from pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. After serving as a Wyoming congressman, White House Chief of Staff for President Ford, and Defense Secretary for President George H.W. Bush, Cheney was tapped as President George W. Bush's VP.
Every administration has ups and downs. You know, when you've been through that, I think you have a perspective on it, and there's a little less hand-wringing.
CBS's Nancy Cordes.
part of the reason that he held so much power when he was vice president and really redefined that role for the modern day is because he came in with such deep legislative experience, having served in the House, deep foreign policy experience, having served as defense secretary.
Cheney survived 5 heart attacks and a heart transplant. When his daughter Liz Cheney became one of President Trump's biggest critics, he defended her and called Trump a coward. CBS News Special Report. I'm Michael Wallace.
Speaking at a 2015 ceremony to unveil a bust in his honor, Cheney talked about how he wanted people to remember him.
Here was a believer in America, so fortunate in his life experiences, so blessed in his friends, and so grateful all his days to have served as Vice President of the United States of America.
Health insurance rates are going up in Missouri, and state leaders say now is the time to start planning for 2026.
Emerson Insurance has released final health insurance rates for next year's individual and small group markets. Data from the department shows the average rate changes from 4% lower to about 30% lower to about 30% higher over the current rates. While rates are expected to rise, every county in Missouri will still have at least 2 carriers offering coverage, with most counties offering 4 or more. The agency urges Missourians to carefully review their options, especially as some subsidies are set to expire and plan networks may change. Open enrollment started November 1st, and the deadline for coverage starting January 1st is December the 15th. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
The government shutdown is getting closer to becoming the longest in U.S. history. Americans lining up at food banks, even as 2 courts have ordered that SNAP benefits be restored after being cut off this weekend. The Trump administration says it will only pay half. With air traffic controllers working without pay, more flights are being canceled or delayed due to staffing issues. CBS's Chris Van Cleve reports from Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix.
The airlines say more than 3.2 million flyers have already experienced delays or cancellations due to air traffic control staffing issues during the shutdown. If you're flying today, it's a bit like you're playing shutdown delay roulette. We know there will be delays. We just don't really know when or where.
Changes in funding demographics and the AI revolution may force a reimagining of what higher education looks like. John Shaw, director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute at SIU Carbondale, tells KMOX the state contribution has declined by 40%.
When you look at, say, 2000 to where we are now, there's been this stunning reversal in just how universities are financed. I mean, it used to be that the state was a really big funder of universities, and now it's increasingly on students in terms of tuition and fees.
At the same time, Shaw points out there will be fewer 18-year-olds in the population to enter colleges and universities. The Institute is co-sponsoring a forum on the future of higher ed this week.
A lot of focus on protein-rich diets right now. So how do you know if you're getting enough protein? We asked a registered dietitian.
I encourage people to make sure that they have some form of protein at each meal. A visual reference might be at least the size of your fist or the size of a baseball.
That's Michelle Wilson with Brands Nutrition. She says plant-based protein typically has higher fiber and lower fat, but is lower in iron.
So vitamin C helps increase iron absorption. And so if you're trying to get iron from plant-based products, then you might have some sort of pepper or citrus, something that helps increase the amount of vitamin C to help increase the absorption of iron.
And Wilson says, yes, you can have too much protein.
It can cause a little bit of a strain on our kidneys.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. The voice of St. Louis is turning 100.
KMOX Radio in St. Louis.
Join us as we celebrate all the legendary voices.
This is KMOX.
This is KMOX. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Groundbreaking programming.
A new concept at your service.
And unforgettable moments that defined a century.
His name is Charles A. Lindbergh. Ahead, 3,600 miles to Paris.
Through every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house. What you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-999-3339. That's 800-999-3339. Again, that's 800-999-3339.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It is 7:30, and we've got a few clouds, but tons of sunshine right now in downtown St. Louis and 42 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see if we have tons of traffic. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, yeah, it's plenty busy out there, Tom, especially downtown, of course, with that road work that started yesterday morning after the morning rush hour. Westbound 64 at 3rd Street, where those two left lanes are closed. We still have a pretty consistent jam, 64 right at 111, and it's crawling all the way to that point. And westbound 5570, about midway between 111 and 203. One of our Kmart commuters just called in and said we have a crash north 270 at the 64 ramp to north 270. So just watch it there. North 270 is slow as you ramp on from 55, but it jams north of 44 to Manchester from the earlier crash we had at Ladue. South 270, 364 down to Ladue is pretty busy. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, David Hochul into Highway 64 slow from Lake St. Louis all the way to TR Hughes, 94 into Earth City. That's all pretty busy. Southbound 61, a slowdown around W. It's really pockets of slow stuff until you get south of P, and then it's jammed down to Wentzville Parkway. Slow on to 64 at the Boulevard, Winghaven, Midway into K, 94 to Research Park, Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and around the Inner Belt, westbound 64 Hampton, headed out through Big Bend, and Lindbergh out to 270. Like I said, that ramp to north 270, a minor crash, so it's a little slower there than it normally would be. North 55, the right lane's back up at the 270 ramp, and then they're all slow from Green Park up across River to Pear. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a really nice day today with partly sunny skies, breezy, 72 degrees. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Again, breezy with a high near 70, 64 and partly sunny on Thursday. Next chance of a shower might be Friday morning. We'll keep you posted, but right now it's sunny and 42 degrees.
We have an update on that standoff in Arnold. Jefferson County Sheriff Dave Marshak says a SWAT team incident in Arnold ended around 7 this morning with a wanted person taken into custody. The standoff began around 8 last night at an apartment complex on Crosswinds Drive. The sheriff has not said what crime the suspect is accused of committing. A department spokesperson referred all questions to Arnold Police.
The young daughter of the Staunton restaurant owner detained by ICE last week spoke at a community rally Sunday in Macoupin County. Here's part of what Amy had to say.
My dad, he's a great person and he should not be in that terrible place.
A big crowd took part in the event to show support for 41-year-old Ishmael Sandoval and his family. ICE released a statement saying Sandoval was being held because he had illegally crossed the border with Mexico several times almost 20 years ago. ICE also said he had a DUI conviction in 2008. Supporters are trying to prevent Sandoval from being deported, including Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski.
When shown video of violent arrests by ICE, President Trump on 60 Minutes said he didn't think the raids had gone far enough and said he's nabbing murderers and criminals. Not so, says KMOX political analyst John Hancock, who had his own personal experience with ICE arrests when a very close friend of his family was taken away.
This man was going to work, was followed from his driveway to his place of employment, and when he got out of his car, he was arrested by ICE.
Hancock says there has been no information from ICE and no hearing. The man will likely be deported, but they don't know where. He has an American wife and 2 small children.
A reminder, today is a municipal election day in Missouri, so the polls are open until 7. There are ballot questions in the Melville and Rockwood school districts, also referenda up for vote in Clayton, Ladue, Bellefontaine, Neighbors, Creve Coeur, and Veneta Park.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We're 11 minutes away from sports. Coming up next, your Money Minute on KMOX.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
All right, it is 7:35. You are listening to Total Information AM. It is Tuesday, November the 4th, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful forecast. So we'll get to that for you in just a moment. But first, let's get you updated on your Bloomberg Money Minute, and it's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The fight between YouTube and Disney over distribution fees continues to drag on. YouTube TV rejected Disney's request to restore ABC to the online TV service this election day. YouTube says adding back the channel for the day might confuse subscribers. YouTube TV customers lost access to Disney channels such as ABC, ESPN, and FX on October 31st after the two companies failed to reach a new agreement over programming costs. Checking in on your money, it's looking like a rough day on Wall Street. Stocks are seeing heavy losses this morning with S&P futures down around 1%. And Starbucks is looking to improve its fortunes in China. The coffee chain has agreed to sell a majority stake in its China business to a private equity firm. The agreement marks the end of a search for a partner to help chart Starbucks' next chapter in that nation. Starbucks has struggled in recent years, along with other Western companies that have lost ground to local rivals. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Life doesn't stand still, and neither do your goals. At Busey Bank, we're here to help you move forward with the financial tools, local support, and expert guidance you need to take your next step. Whether you're growing a business, leaving a legacy, or saving for the future, you'll have a team that's ready when you are. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
So choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th. So go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose, a whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Fridays mean football. From a zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
All three, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
It is 7:40 and time for us to check in with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busy highways, obviously, Debbie. No surprise this time of day. This traffic report is a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. If you're heading out on westbound 64, that crash looks like I mentioned last time up. It looks like it's basically moved to the shoulder just past Ballas. Traffic's getting around it easier now, but you still have heavy traffic on westbound 64, the Science Center to Big Bend, and from Lindbergh out to that point. Eastbound 64 coming off southbound 61, the delays begin north of P onto 64 to the Boulevard through Winghaven, Annie Guns to almost Timberlake, and then it's not really all that bad till you get around the inner belt, just briefly slow. South 270, 364 down to Ladou's busy. Eastbound Highway 70, the bulk of the volume from west of Lake St. Louis in through TR Hughes, a little busy through 94 5th Street. If you're on northbound 270, as slow as you ramp on from 55 at jams. From 44 most of the way to Manchester, then busy up to Ladue after that. Northbound 55. The Green Park area up to River to Parrot is pretty slow the whole way through. And, of course, big jams downtown still. 5570 approaching 203, 64 approaching 111 all the way to 3rd Street where those two left lanes remain closed headed to the Poplar. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Well, welcome to St. Louis. Just when you thought the cold weather was going to stick around, here comes some warmth, Joe Lundberg. Pretty nice.
Get out and enjoy because the cold weather is returning and it's coming back this weekend and with a vengeance. Partly sunny skies today. It is going to be nice and warm this afternoon with a nice breeze out of the southwest. Our high 72. A breezy evening, clear to partly cloudy tonight, though 54. Great day to be out and about tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Good day to tee it up, the high about 70. Partly sunny for Thursday, the high 64. Then the first of a couple of cold fronts comes through on Friday. There'll be clouds and maybe a shower or two later Thursday night and into Friday morning. Then that goes away. The sun comes back out. We're still in the upper 60s. Second system goes by to our north on Saturday. Cloud, limited sun, maybe a shower, the high 68. But behind that system, it's going to drop dramatically. Temperatures no better than the 40s Sunday and Monday. Right now, it's 48 at St. Peter's, 47 at Florissant, sunny 48 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:42 as the news continues. A familiar voice on KMOX says it's quite an honor to be named the Salvation Army of Greater St. Louis Red Kettle Campaign chair for this holiday season. Amy Markscore says giving back to the community brings joy to her life.
Every experience I've had, whether it's ringing the bell or working a toy drive, I don't think I've ever done that without tearing up at least once, because it is so personal how we need each other. And that's what the Salvation Army does. It answers that call.
The campaign kickoff is November 22nd.
Changes in funding, demographics, and the AI revolution may force a reimagining of what higher education looks like. John Shaw, director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, tells KMOX the state contribution has declined by 40%.
When you look at, say, 2000 to where we are now, there's been this stunning reversal in just how universities are financed. I mean, it used to be that the state was a really big funder of universities, and now it's increasingly on students in terms of tuition and fees.
At the same time, Shaw points out there will be fewer 18-year-olds in the population to enter colleges and universities. The Institute is co-sponsoring a forum on the future of higher ed this week.
A suspect arrested after multiple people were stabbed Sunday night in Urbana, home to the University of Illinois. Carolina Garibay reports.
Urbana police say 18-year-old Samuel Garcia of Arcola, Illinois, was arrested for attempted murder after he stabbed 4 people during a large fight. Police say it happened around 5:45 p.m. near Hunter Street and Learman Avenue. The 4 victims were hospitalized with injuries ranging from minor to life-threatening. Garcia fled the scene after the stabbing, but police eventually located his vehicle and identified Garcia as the suspect involved in the incident. An investigation is underway.
It is now 7:44 and a new home and a new look for a beloved children's TV show. We get the latest from Deborah Rodriguez.
Today is the Sesame Street Races!
56 years in, and the kid-friendly furry monsters on Sesame Street are giving a sneak peek at their new digs on Netflix. Elmo, Bert, Ernie, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and the rest of the cast are all there, playing together in animated and live-action formats. So are guests like NASCAR champ Bubba Wallace. As CBS News.
Episodes also air on Sesame Street's original home, PBS.
And understand, the Billikens did enough to win the game by 25 points last night, 92-67. They didn't have a win bigger than that all last year. They beat Fordham on the road by 25. They had a couple of wins bigger than that against lesser than D1 opponents. But against a legit D1 opponent, Southeast Missouri, Ohio Valley Conference champions last year, they hammered them by 25 points and did not play all that well. This is Josh Schertz with the voice of the Billikens, Bob Ramsey.
When you address it, you let the guys know what you think.
Excitement about this team. They want to, certainly play in a way that is representative of what we have. And, I think we'll come back to work. We'll look at it. I think a lot of it was just stuff that was out of character. If it was something that, there are things that we have to do better that can be addressed in practice. Turn the ball over too much. That's been a theme in the 2 exhibitions and this. So that's an issue. Fouling way too much. That's been a theme. Yeah. So those are not things that are like, hey, those are not nerves. That's just I got to do a better job of coaching our guys, right? I got to do a better job coaching our guys. Now some of the turnovers were insanely ridiculous things. That falling down. I felt bad for the cheerleaders, the band. We might have taken somebody's head off. We're gonna, so we got to give them football helmets. It's going to be a whole thing when we come out here if we're going to keep doing that. So
it's a big physical, athletic team. This St. Louis University team could be for real. 92-67. They dropped the hammer on SEMO. Illinois did the same to Jackson State, big time, 113-55 for the 17th ranked Illini. How about Mizzou? Good for them. They go on the road to start the season, and they beat Howard 88-67. Southern Illinois topped McKendree 83-42. The Blues, They'll take a win any way they can get it, and they got it last night in the final 90 seconds. FanDuel Sports Network Midwest, Chris Kerber.
Sooner walks it in, drives the goal. Blues pick it up. Shen wraps it near wing, straight away. Perico on. Rebound, they score! Sooner on the doorstep, tucks it home. 3-2 Blues.
Finally, the Blues get it done 3-2 over the Edmonton Oilers. The Blues snap a 7-game losing skid and get the win at home. The Gas House Gang today at noon. Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklas joining me to talk all things sports. And, of course, we'll go heavily into the Cardinals this offseason. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This November, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Benjamin Britten's War Requiem, a powerful, haunting piece that reflects on war and peace across generations. Led by music director Stéphane Denève, the SLSO and St. Louis Symphony Chorus are joined by world-renowned vocalists and the St. Louis Children's Choirs. November 7th and 9th. Tickets at slso.org.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:50 and time for a check of traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
More still jammed downtown, Debbie. Westbound 64 at 111, 5570 approaching 203 into the work zone at 3rd Street. If you're on northbound 55, still a little slow down right around Green Park up toward Rivas, and then Union Road overpass to River to Paris, back to a couple of pockets where it bunches up on North 270, 55 to Tesson Ferry, slow through Gravois jams, approaching 44 up to about Big Bend, then it's slow all the way to Ladue. South 270, Dorset down to 364 is on the brakes, then it's slow down to the Ladue construction zone. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got slow traffic from pretty much Highway A all the way into TR Hughes, a little busy 270 into the Rock Road after that. Southbound 61, more stop than it is go from Highway P down onto 64, still a little busy at the Boulevard, east of 364 through Winghaven, Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and east of Lindbergh is slow to the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Science Center headed to Hanley, and then McKnight all the way to 270. Remember that crash was on the shoulder there. 44 east of Lindbergh all the way into Laclede Station's kind of off the pace as well at this time. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And Joe Lundberg kept talking about how it's going to get colder starting on Sunday, so I took a peek. Yikes. Overnight lows in the 20s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It'll be sunny at least on those days, and it's going to be beautiful this week. So let's enjoy the breezy, warm weather. High 72 today. Tonight, breezy, clear to partly cloudy, low 54. Tomorrow, sunny again with a high approaching 70. Thursday, sunny and nice and a high of 64 degrees. Currently, it's partly cloudy, 46 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. One of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents in American history has died. We get more from Mike Hempen.
Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84.
Cheney's family says the former VP died Monday night from complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Cheney was a conservative who served as defense secretary under President George H.W. Bush and as VP under Bush's son, President George W. Bush. During a 2015 ceremony to unveil a bust in his honor, Cheney talked about how he wanted to be remembered.
Here was a believer in America, so fortunate in his life experiences, so blessed in his friends, and so grateful all his days to have served as Vice President of the United States of America.
Cheney survived 5 heart attacks and had a heart transplant. In later years, he became a target of President Trump, especially after his daughter Liz Cheney became the leading Republican critic of Trump. Last year, Cheney said he was voting for Democrat Kamala Harris in the presidential election. Mike Hempen, Washington.
Now CBS's Peter Mayer on a moment in history for the former vice president.
It will be remembered as the most bizarre episode of the Cheney vice presidency. February 2006.
It was the shot heard round the world, or at least around the country. Vice President Cheney wounds a companion in a hunting accident.
Well, you can't blame anybody else. I'm the guy who pulled the trigger and shot my friend.
Cheney told Fox News about the accidental shooting of fellow Texas quail hunter Harry Whittington.
It was, I'd have to say, one of the worst days of my life.
Following release from the hospital, Whittington was forgiving.
Accidents do and will happen.
Adding to the intrigue, the often secretive vice president's office did not publicly report the incident for nearly 24 hours, and then only after it showed up on a Texas newspaper website.
One man is injured after attempting to evade police in a stolen vehicle.
After police bike stripped the vehicle, they say it kept evading them, driving further on until eventually crashing into the back of Vin Chop Suey. I spoke with the fire captain of the firehouse right next door, Anthony Hesse, who describes the scene. Extremely loud crash. And saw a bunch of dust come in front of the firehouse overhead door. We went outside to investigate and witnessed the driver laying on the concrete. According to St. Louis City Police, the driver of the stolen vehicle suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. He was the only occupant of that car. In Baden, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A man is dead after a daytime shooting in the Walnut Park East neighborhood of St. Louis. It happened Monday afternoon around 3:15 in the area of Genevieve and Prange. Homicide detectives are investigating.
The Christmas tree set to stand in Chicago's Millennium Park this season is a 6-ton, 66-foot-tall Norway spruce donated by a family in suburban Glenview. Neil Heitz, director of event production for the Chicago Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, calls the spruce unique.
Usually we don't see those trees the size of this kind of a tree way far out in the collar counties. So to see this one relatively close to the city, it was a real winner. We knew as soon as we put eyes on it that this would be the tree for this year.
Tree lighting festivities in Chicago are set for November 21st.
It's 7:56.
104.1 FM, KMOX. News, talk, sports.
When people think about moving, they think about all kinds of things, particularly where they want to move and they're looking for the new house and they're looking for furniture and where are they going to put the couch. But the first thing you really need to do is find the right agent to sell the home that you have. And that is going to be Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. A lot of realtors will make you big promises. They'll probably even tell you, we could sell your home for this much. And you go, whoa, okay. And you pick that realtor because you think you're going to make a lot of money, but then it sits there and it doesn't sell and there's markdowns and you're annoyed and you can't get your new house. Anyway, Gloria Liu guarantees in writing that she will sell your home at the price and time frame you both agree upon, or she'll buy it herself. So you know your home is sold, guaranteed, and she'll guarantee to sell it for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. I don't think other agents can guarantee the same thing, but go ahead and call around and make sure that one of those calls is Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. You can find Gloria Liu online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
758, Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we're still jammed downtown, westbound 64 from 111 to 3rd Street, 5570, midway between 111 and 203 into that same spot. Northbound 55, bumper to bumper, Union Road up to River to Pear. North 270, pockets from north of 55 all the way up through Manchester, slow to Ladue. South 270, approaching Dorset. There's an incident there. Then south of there all the way down to Ladue remains busy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:59, and coming up in KMOX's Total Information AM's next hour at 8:11, we'll learn more about a Greenwood Cemetery documentary that's being shown at the St. Louis International Film Festival.
At 8:24, we answer the question, can an AI chatbot convince you to alter your political views?
And at 8:51, what's a Santa River cruise?
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine and some clouds today with a warm breeze this afternoon, high 72.
CBS News will have more reaction to the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Coming up at noon, I'll be back with Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji, the Gas House Gang. All things sports on KMOX.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Dick Cheney, a major force in Republican politics for more than 30 years, has died. After serving as President George H.W. Bush's defense secretary, his son chose Cheney as his running mate in 2000. The two-time vice president told CBS News.
He really wanted me to come on board because he thought I could help govern, be part of his team, and that he wanted me involved in everything.
Correspondent Nancy Cordes at the White House.
Part of the reason that he held so much power when he was vice president and really redefined that role for the modern day is because he came in with such deep legislative experience, having served in the House, deep foreign policy experience.
Cheney defended his daughter, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney's criticism of President Trump's response to the January 6th attacks. His family says Cheney died from complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He was 84. Americans are headed to the polls today. In New York City, self-described Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani is leading the race for mayor.
We are on the brink of making history in our city, on the brink of saying goodbye to a politics of the past. A politics that tells you what it can't do and really what it means to say is what it won't do.
His opponent, disgraced former Governor Andrew Cuomo. UVA political analyst Larry Sabato.
If Cuomo wins, it's a feather in Trump's cap because he's endorsed him and he has slashed the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa, and will probably make sure that he doesn't win. And those votes, if they don't go to Sliwa, will go to Cuomo.
It's a tight race for governor in New Jersey between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill.
He's given Trump an A. He said there's nothing he disagrees with him on.
She was endorsed by former President Obama. President Trump held a tele-rally for Ciattarelli.
I'm never telling you what car you got to buy. I'm never telling you how to heat your home. I'm not telling you what appliance you have to buy.
Day 35 of the government shutdown, and the Trump administration says it's come up with money to partially fund the SNAP program. Sari Vatsky heads the Central Texas Food Bank.
We're encouraged to see that there's progress towards a resolution in issuing SNAP benefits. However, there's still a lot of unknown.
At least one major Tesla investor has rejected Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Norway's sovereign wealth fund is the first big investor to share how it voted. The fund said it, quote, appreciates the significant value created under Musk's visionary role, but is concerned about the award's size, dilution, and lack of mitigation of key person risk.
Dow futures are down 285. This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, November 4th. I'm Megan Lynch. Jefferson County Sheriff Dave Marshak says a SWAT team incident in Arnold ended around 7 this morning with a wanted person taken into custody. The standoff began around 8 Monday night at an apartment complex on Crosswinds Drive. Arnold police say the man may be linked to numerous car break-ins. The St. Peters woman will spend 5 years in federal prison for setting a fire in Puerto Rico last January.
37-year-old Danielle Bertothy was sentenced after pleading guilty to arson. She admitted to starting the fire outside the bar that had kicked her out twice for being belligerent. The fire caused serious damage to 4 businesses and forced the evacuation of 40 hotel guests, though nobody was injured. St. Louis alderwoman Daniela Velasquez, a native of Puerto Rico, issued a statement that says, I am grateful that this nightmare for the victims of the arson in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, has finally come to a close today. The outrage that spread from the internet to Puerto Rico to St. Louis and across the Puerto Rican diaspora catalyzed law enforcement to take action. The 5-year sentence was the minimum allowed under federal law. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Today is a municipal election day in Missouri. Polls opened at 6 this morning and will stay open until 7 tonight. There are ballot questions in the Melville and Rockwood school districts. The local governments of Clayton, Ladue, Bellefontaine, Neighbors, Creve Coeur, and Veneta Park also have referenda up for vote.
Hey, look, we can't control what happens in Washington, D.C., but we can certainly control what happens in our cities and our communities.
That's Dr. Ronald Griffin, COO for Betty Jean Kerr People's Health Center. He tells KMOX they will be providing 100 hot meals from 11 until 2 today at the People's Health Center on Delmar.
In Missouri, there are 600,000 recipients of SNAP benefits, and of that, 300,000 are children. Dr. Griffin says the People's Health Center also operates a food pantry 5 days per week.
Every other Friday, we do a food giveaway from 10 to 12 at our 5701 Delmar campus. Every Thursday, we have the Metro Mart that comes in. We incentivize folks and we give them vouchers to get fresh fruits and vegetables. This is something that we do on an everyday basis.
But Dr. Griffin says because of the overwhelming numbers that will be affected by the uncertainty with SNAP benefits, it will take more than the People's Health Center to sound the alarm. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
One Missouri lawmaker says the status of SNAP remains uncertain. The need for community food drives is growing.
State Representative Jim Murphy is bringing back his food drives for the first time since the COVID years. He says after running out of food on day one, he plans to return again.
There's an absolute need here, and we're here to serve them.
Murphy says there isn't much more the state legislature can do to address the problem while out of session, but praises Mike Kehoe's action of shifting millions in funding to Missouri food banks. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is explaining a comment he made during a teachers' convention, which included a 4-letter directed to President Trump. Jeff Buchholz reports Pritzker's not apologizing for it.
It was a feeling I had in that moment.
The governor told reporters after an event in Glen Ellen about the moment during his speech before the Illinois Federation of Teachers last month that's making news now that it's been shared on social media. He was describing the Trump administration's moves that the governor says will harm public education when this happened.
Donald Trump and his cronies can all the way off.
The standing ovation that followed lasted for about 30 seconds. Some Republicans say Pritzker's comment debases the office of the governor, with one candidate calling it gutter language. The governor said it was a response to his belief that students in public schools are being, and this is his word, abused by the Trump administration.
That was a word that came to mind to describe it.
And he dismissed a reporter's question, wondering if his strategy was, if they go low, we go lower.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, Spirit Airlines will no longer fly out of Lambert Airport after January 8th. The troubled carrier is discontinuing service as well out of Milwaukee, Phoenix, and Rochester in what it says is part of efforts to better position the airline for the future. It's currently the 7th largest carrier at Lambert, but Spirit has struggled with 2 bankruptcies in less than a year, furloughs, and cuts to the workforce. We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up in about 2 minutes, and then we're going to look at a film that is being screened at the St. Louis International Film Festival. It's about Greenwood Cemetery in Hillsdale. It's now 8:08.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Plus, with live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has started, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it's coming soon to Missouri. This way, you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sports app. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's now 8:10. Let's get a check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest backups remain downtown, Megan. On westbound 64, you're jammed 111 over to 3rd Street, and 5570 jams about midway between 111 and 203 onto 64 because those left lanes closed at the Poplar. Again, that's going to be that way through Friday afternoon. Northbound Highway 55 from the Union Road overpass up through Virginia, some busy stretches. North 270 backs up Tesson Ferry to Gravois. It backs up again 44 to Big Bend, but it's slow the whole way from north of 55 all the way to Ladue. South 270 north of Dorset down to Ladue is pretty busy. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, Lake St. Louis into TR Hughes, slow. Southbound 61 still backs up about midway between P and Wentzville Parkway into 64. It's slow through both sides of Winghaven, east of 364. It's again Clarkson to Timberlake and east of Lindbergh. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, and west of McKnight out to Spady, slow. Northbound 141, folks have been using that this morning a lot. Of your jammed northbound 141 from Hawkins all the way up to about Vance, and from Milldale all the way up to 64. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of sun and clouds today, a warm breeze this afternoon, high 72. It'll be breezy this evening, then clear to partly cloudy overnight, though just 54. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow with highs approaching 70. Cooler for Thursday with partly sunny skies and a high of 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And checking those temperatures right now, we have sunny skies, 50 degrees in Florissant, 48 degrees in St. Peters, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Historic Greenwood Cemetery in Hillsdale is the focus of a new documentary that will be featured at the St. Louis International Film Festival later this month. Greenwood, of course, the first non-denominational commercial cemetery for African Americans in St. Louis. Filmmaker Jim Karpowitz, Raphael Morris, president of the Greenwood Cemetery Preservation Association, and Shelley Morris, secretary and assistant historian, all in studio with me this morning. Thank you all for coming in.
Well, thanks for having us.
Jim, I'm going to start with you. What drew you to tell the story of Greenwood?
Well, we kind of just lucked into finding we were working for the conservation department, shooting some removal of invasive honeysuckle. So we just sort of lucked into the work that Raphael and Shelley were doing. And it was such a compelling story. I mean, the cemetery was totally overgrown, and they were out there with these volunteers just uncovering gravestones. And it was a very moving experience. And we just realized immediately this was going to be an incredible story.
Tell us a little bit, either Raphael or Shelley, about Greenwood, its history, and why it is so significant.
Well, Greenwood was formed in 1874, and over 50,000 people are buried at Greenwood. With that, there's so much history within those grounds. So much to do with St. Louis history. As an example, Harriet Scott, the wife of Dred Scott, who went before the Supreme Court and ultimately lost their case in 1857, well, she and her family are buried there. We have other notable people that are buried. So when we talk about Greenwood, we talk about eras within the St. Louis landscape, things that went on in the city. You can, when you start researching a particular person, you realize where they lived, how they died, where they worked, and you're able to, tell a story about what was going on in St. Louis at that time. So it's really relevant that we keep that history alive.
Talk about the decline of Greenwood, because there, as you mentioned, there have been extensive preservation efforts there. When did the decline begin and why?
Not 100% sure when the decline began. We came on board in July of 2015, and suffice to say, it was totally overgrown. You could not see a single headstone on the property. And I'm talking about almost 32 acres of land that was totally covered with the invasive species. And there were 50,000 people buried on those grounds. So it really became a mission for us to do what we can to restore the honor and prestige of such a historic property.
What's it been like to try to document all of that and preserve the headstones that are remaining there?
We have, actually, we have the database of the various people that are buried there. And so we've developed that at least. And so family members are able to come and visit once again. But as far as restoration of the grounds, that has been a challenge because the cemetery grounds has gone through tremendous erosion. And so that impacts what we do to try to reclaim the grounds. Raphael and myself and other volunteers have really been just eating that elephant one bite at a time, trying to restore, because it's been inundated with honeysuckle and other invasive species. So reclaiming the grounds has been a tremendous effort, and it's been a community effort. So this is what we do.
Jim, why is it so important for you to tell this story now and get this story out to people not only in Missouri but across the country?
I would love to have some sort of altruistic reason for wanting to make this film, but we are drawn to good stories, and this was just such an incredibly good story. It was moving, it was uplifting. So it wasn't as if we were like trying to, bring history to light or whatever. It was just a good story, and Raphael and Shelley are great subjects, great people to sort of host that story. So we just saw a good opportunity and went for it.
Tell us about the passion that you see in them for this project.
Oh my gosh, it was obvious from day one. I mean, we've been working on this for maybe 5 years or so.
Mhm.
And just on that very first day that we were there, and we saw Raphael and Shelley both addressing a group of volunteers, and they did it with humor and passion and got everybody stirred up and ready to go. So it was just a fun experience to see that going on.
Talk about the respect for the individuals that are laid to rest there.
Well, it is quite moving. And during the making of the film, we were able, with Shelley's help, to get some of the relatives of the interned that had not been able to come back and had not been able to see their relatives for 20 or 30 years to visit the graves of their loved ones. And that was very moving to be able to allow people to have that opportunity. So, we just were honored to be able to work on this. It was a wonderful project.
Shelley, I hadn't even thought about that, about the fact that because of the condition of the cemetery, that people were not able to visit their loved ones. Talk about how you made that happen for them.
Oh, gosh. Well, I didn't do it alone. I am just a small part of it. I would say that, honestly, Raphael has been that person that has made it possible for so many to come out and reclaim, because he's out there all the time, just trying to make a difference. And when we have people reach out to us and they ask, is Section R cleared? And to be able to share with them that we're not quite there, but we're getting there. And then to later to be able to say, we're there, please come visit. And to be able to take that individual to their mother's gravesite, it makes everything come in place as far as why we're here and why it's so important. We can talk about notables all day long, but when we're able to reconnect family members with their loved ones, this is why we do what we do.
Raphael, what's that mean for you to be able to do that for a family?
It means everything. I have probably somewhere between 12 to 15 relatives buried there on the property. And for years, I hadn't found anybody. And once we started clearing and we started uncovering so many grave sites, I would be asked numerous times, well, you haven't found your own family members. How does that make you feel? I said, oh, it doesn't bother me a bit. I hadn't met them in all these years. I can wait a little while longer. And just being able to help somebody find that loved one, that's all the difference in the world for us. We just love what we do.
Well, everyone can experience a little bit of this. You can see the film November 14th at 5 p.m. at Chase Park Plaza Cinema, and you can find those tickets at festivals.cinemastlewis.org. Again, it's Greenwood. Jim, Raphael, and Shelley, thank you so much for taking the time to come in studio with me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate it.
So much.
It's time for another check of the roads now. Let's get an update from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're still jammed downtown, Megan. This traffic reports a service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, 64 westbound, west of 111, 5570, approaching 203 onto 64 at 3rd Street. And then you're home free, obviously, after that. North 55, Bayless up the river to Paris, still heavy. North 270, Tesson Ferry all the way to Ladue, still busy. South 270 around Dorset down to Ladue, still off the pace the whole way. Southbound 61, midway between P and Wentzville Parkway on the 64 to the Boulevard is heavy. There's a slow down past Winghaven, Clarkson to Timberlake, and east of Lindbergh to the Interbelt. The Interbelt slows at Olive. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley is the worst of it there. Northbound 141, Hawkins up through 44, and Clayton Road up to 64 is still backed up. It's slow even before that, but those are the heaviest parts of that run. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year Young Mutual Company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. Partly sunny, breezy, and warm this afternoon. We're expecting a high of 72 degrees. Right now we have sunshine, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's Tom Ackerman. We are about a month away from the Jack Buck Awards of the Missouri Athletic Club on December 8th. I don't want to jump the gun on the announcement because I know the club is going to make the official announcement of the recipients and presenters on that night. but I'll give you a little clue. It is going to be really, really great. We have just about every sport represented that I can think of: hockey, baseball, soccer, basketball, and much more. And it's all going to be right there inside the Missouri Room at the Missouri Athletic Club. We have legends, we have current players, we have current broadcasters, we have some young, exciting stars as well. It is going to be a great collection at the Missouri Athletic Club on December 8th. The Missouri Athletic Club hosts it every year and has since 1970. It will be carried live on KMOX with a full room. Can't wait to see everybody in there once again. The Jack Buck Sports Awards of the Missouri Athletic Club. Doesn't get much better than that. mac-stl.org.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Can an AI chatbot change your political beliefs? Let's talk about that with Julie Smith. She is our media expert, author, Webster University instructor, joining us in studio. Good morning, Julie.
Hi.
Why would we even ask if an AI chatbot could change our political beliefs?
So there was this experiment where they used two biased large language models. One was biased towards the right and one was biased towards the left. And then they had people of the opposite political persuasion interact with these biased LLMs. And it was like an easy question, like how much money should be spent on public education or things like that. Well, what they discovered is that the participants in the experiment shifted their decisions to align more with the bot they were interacting with. And it happened in less than 10 minutes. And I think it's really interesting because that brings up something else that we need to know about these AI platforms is the algorithmic bias that it might have.
So I can almost see this being weaponized.
Oh, completely.
In this country around election season. Someone gets hooked into a bot and then all of a sudden it's programmed to start influencing their political views?
Absolutely. And not just in our country, but around the world. What's interesting to me is that the people who were involved in the experiment that knew a lot about AI were less likely to change their beliefs. So it's like AI literacy or AI fluency is the next big topic that should be a priority so that we aren't necessarily influenced by something that's been programmed to influence us. But, aren't all media messages programmed to influence us in one way or another?
Well, this just seems like the social media trends on steroids where people have been influenced for years now on social
in their bubbles.
media.
Yeah.
So I guess where do we get that AI information? How do we learn? What are good sources to learn how AI really works so that we can be more savvy?
Do you know what's so funny is my first suggestion is to go to AI.
Right?
Yeah. That's a really tough question because it changes and evolves so quickly and the technology is changing constantly. So any TED Talk or YouTube video that you might watch today could potentially be outdated by tomorrow. So I think that the onus is on us, right, to learn as much as we can about these platforms so that we're not so easily influenced.
And I would imagine that we have to be really careful relying on the platforms themselves for this information because really they're looking for engagement and monetary return.
Absolutely. They're businesses. And those bots are programmed to keep the conversation going. So we have to just keep that in mind all the time.
That is Julie Smith with Webster University. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
It's 8:30. Let's get an update on the roads again with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, this is traffic report service at Moolah Shriner Center, Megan. Highway A at Parr Road is currently shut down temporarily. A crash with fire. Thankfully, no injuries, but they are putting the fire out as we speak. On the highways, we still have jam traffic on the Illinois side, 64 west of 111, 5570 approaching 203 onto 64 at 3rd Street. If you're coming in on eastbound 64, it's heavy from 70 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, Winghaven area. It slows down through the Chesterfield Parkways and east of Lindbergh. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, still busy. South 270, Dorset to Ladue, slow. North 270, Gravelly to Ladue is busy. Northbound 141, Centurion up to 44, north of Clayton Road up to 64. More just slowdowns running through there. Morganford at Germania, we also have a crash. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're expecting a breezy and warm afternoon, partly sunny skies with a high of 72. Breezy this evening, otherwise clear to partly cloudy, an overnight low of 54. Right now we have sunshine, 49 degrees in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. President Trump is threatening to take military action against Nigeria, saying Christians in that African nation are being targeted by Islamic militants. Experts say the situation is far more nuanced. Let's get more now from CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Megan, always a pleasure.
Let's talk about the religious makeup of Nigeria because it's fairly complex, and there are some extremist groups that have targeted both Christians and Muslims. Correct?
That is absolutely correct. Nigeria is one of the largest countries by population in Africa. About 220 million people in Nigeria, about evenly split between Christian and Muslim. The majority of the attacks against the population by terrorist groups have occurred in the northeastern portion of the country, largely by a group called Boko Haram. But most reports seem to suggest that the vast majority of these attacks, frankly, are against the Muslim community as opposed to Christian.
What are the nature of the attacks? What are the reports that apparently got to President Trump that led him to say that he's interested in taking action against Nigeria?
Well, there have been claims circulating amongst some pretty right-wing conservative religious groups. A particular West Virginia congressman by the name of Riley Moore has been putting out posts that hundreds of thousands of Christians have been killed in Nigeria since 2009, which really aren't supported by facts, according to Reuters and other sources. Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas has also come out and called for action to, dampen down these attacks on the Christian community. But it's fairly diverse, based on, again, groups like Boko Haram, who not only, like I said before, attack Christians, but also attack Muslims they don't believe are practicing the Islamic faith in a conservative enough fashion. Also groups over areas of herding of cattle and other animals, groups who are in conflict over water rights, and there are numerous other situations that cause for conflict to occur, which have resulted in these particular attacks.
Now, the president says he's instructed the Department of War to prepare for possible action. What grounds would the United States have to take military action in Nigeria?
Well, of course, the president, as he's done in Venezuela and Colombia, could exercise, if you will, the opportunity he has under the War Powers Resolution to conduct military action for up to about 60 days without congressional authority. He's, by the way, exceeded that with the attacks in the Caribbean and the Pacific off of Colombia and Venezuela, respectively. He could certainly do that. For a sustained military operation, it would seem to me he would have to go back to the Congress for some kind of authorization, as presidents have done in the past. But the president did suggest, by the way, that the attacks he's talking about, I think the words he used were, I'm quoting now, fast, vicious, and sweet, which I thought was an interesting way of describing how these attacks might be conducted.
What kind of ripples would that cause geopolitically if the U.S. were to go into Nigeria?
Well, I think, again, a lot of countries in the so-called global south see this as, more or less the United States throwing its weight around. And frankly, in places like Russia, China, and elsewhere, they'll be describing this to their population and others as, hey, this is the United States, again, pushing hegemony on the world, colonialism. They'll probably use that phrase. And the Russians will be quick to point out, why is this any different than what we're doing in Ukraine? We're really defending our country from Nazis. The United States is not directly threatened by Nigeria for sure, and some would argue not in a political sense by narco-terrorists, which are criminals, but the United States is still using military force. So it'll be used by those countries to discredit the United States, I think, globally, number one, and is viewed by a lot of smaller countries around the world as an effort by the United States to, sort of assert its authority and throw its weight around.
That's CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Your Money Report is next.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Hello, everyone. I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2 and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
Debt payments keeping you up at night? Credit cards, medical bills, personal loans. If you owe more than $10,000 in unsecured debt, we can help you settle for less. At J.G. Wentworth, many clients cut their debt by up to 50% before fees, potentially saving thousands of dollars. Even if your credit is damaged, we can help. And remember, you don't pay us a dime unless we reduce your debt. Call 877-CASH-NOW. The call is free, the consultation is free, and the bigger your debt, the more we can help you save. Act now. If you owe $10,000 or more, call 877-CASH-NOW. That's 877-CASH-NOW. Call right now. Your path toward financial freedom starts today with J.G. Wentworth. 877-CASH-NOW. Results vary. Not all debts qualify. Debt resolution impacts credit and may increase what you owe. Average savings before fees, 43%, 25% after fees. J.G. Wentworth does not pay debts or provide legal, tax, or credit repair services.
8:37, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Starbucks is looking to improve its fortunes in China and hoping a local partner will help. The coffee chain has agreed to sell a majority stake in its China business to a Chinese private equity firm. Starbucks has been searching for a partner to help chart its next chapter in that nation. Starbucks has struggled in recent years, along with other Western companies that have lost ground to local rivals. It's looking like a rough day on Wall Street. Stocks are seeing losses this morning, with S&P futures down around 1%. Keep in mind that stocks have surged more than 35% since April. And the fight between YouTube and Disney over distribution fees continues to drag on. YouTube TV rejected Disney's request to restore ABC to the online TV service this election day. YouTube says adding back the channel for the day might confuse subscribers. YouTube TV customers lost access to Disney channels such as ABC, ESPN, and FX on October 31st. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman here. The biggest decision that you have to make when it comes to outdoor renovations, so we're talking about windows and siding specifically, is choosing the right contractor. Because if you pick a contractor that maybe is cheaper, cuts corners, doesn't do the job right, you can't go back. Once they do a bad job, then you got to take it all off again and start over with the real thing. The real deal is Banner Construction. They're the ones who have been doing it for over 30 years. They are the absolute best. They are a Pella Windows specialist. They are a James Hardie siding specialist. They do a professional job, well over 30 years now of excellence in St. Louis. Online at bannerconstruction.com. There you can find how to get a free in-home consultation with their outstanding team, and then go from there. 314-569-1050 is their phone number. 314-569-1050 for Banner Construction, and have a banner day.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
It's 8:40, time for another check of the roads. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still jammed downtown, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Duke's Mayonnaise, westbound 64, I guess we'll call it 37th Street, over to 3rd Street, and 5570 jams approaching 203 to 3rd Street, where those left lanes remain closed for road work. Northbound 55, a little busy, Bayless Weber. North 270, gravel to Ladue, slow. South 270, 364 down to Ladue, off the pace. If you're on Highway A at Parr Road, there's still restrictions from an earlier crash and fire. 64 eastbound, bogged down, passing Wing Haven, and then west of McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend's a little slow. Northbound 141, not a complete jam, but it's still heavy from Hawkins all the way up through Vance, and then north of Clayton Road up to 64 as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid and its full name. is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Jefferson County looking for possible sites for a new airport. We wanted to learn more. I'm joined now by Dennis Gannon, Jefferson County Executive. Thank you so much for being with me.
Good morning, Megan. How are you today? I appreciate being invited.
Well, we're doing well, and I appreciate you taking time to talk about this. I'm really curious what's prompting the county to consider constructing an airport.
Well, Megan, Jefferson County has had an airport for many, many, many years, and with the repurposing of the airport in Festus, Missouri, the very day that we understood and realized that it would be shut down and repurposed to the James Hardy site, we realized that we need to be looking. Jefferson County is growing, so we need to be looking at what we need to be a fully robust, multi-transportational asset in the area. So quite honestly, it seems natural that you have a general aviation facility somewhere close to the hub of the region, which being St. Louis, and so we're initiating the process. I think once you have something like an airport, although at the end of its life in the airport, when it was actually functioning, there was more hobbyists using it than actually a business center type situation.
So the thought of this is for a private and not necessarily a commercial airport.
I'll put it this way. General aviation. Obviously is what we'd be looking for. We'd be looking for the individual owner who may have his own plane to hang right there also. But what we really are looking for would be the aspect of being able to bring corporate jets to support the businesses that surround the region. And I know there are a lot of companies that do in fact fly to multiple locations across the country using a private plane. Doesn't have to be a jet, but just we think that this is a key component to what could happen. We also look at the fact that it could be a hub for lightweight freight coming in and out. They used to do a lot of flying of the mail service throughout. So, those are options that can be looked at. If I think that you're going to have a major commercial company come in, that's an airline come in, that's not what we are looking for. We are basically looking to support small corporate planes and jets.
Looks like you're looking for consultants now. Explain for our listeners what the steps are in the process of trying to site an airport and then get construction underway.
Sure. So actually the funds that we're using to start the program, at least to start the study and for a consultant, was from the State Aviation Trust Funds. So that's managed and operated by Missouri Department of Transportation. So essentially what they're looking for is we're looking for somebody who could research and identify potential sites for a regional airport within Jefferson County. Jefferson County is very hilly, but obviously there are components. There's land available to do this. It's just that we need somebody helping us select it. So that's a part of the process, is finding a location, identifying the needs, what needs to be around the airport as far as the planning documents, the layout, the master plan of how to do it. And so there's a lot to it. So we're on the very beginning stages. We're actually seeking a qualified an engineering firm to study the process. So that's where we're on step one of about maybe 20 steps.
Okay, that is County Executive for Jefferson County, Dennis Gannon. My next question for you, what's it take financially to look at building a new airport? I mean, what are the dollars that would be needed?
Megan, the interesting part is I've seen numbers from maybe $20 million or plus. But I think the important part is when you plan these things. Now, Jefferson County does not have the money, obviously, to do that. But, through this process, we're hoping that we can identify potential funding grants, with the big, beautiful bill and all the things that's included in that. And over the years, they've done a lot of funding for infrastructure. So obviously, without a vision, which we hope will be developed through this airport study, we don't know what we're looking for. We don't know how much we need to spend or how much we need to invest in it, and what's available out there. What I would envision, if you're looking at an ideal situation, I would envision being able to have an industrial site around it. Now, that could be light industry. I'm not talking about major manufacturing, but people who are making things that we as consumers use, and make it a light industrial site that supports an airport around it. So to me, it's just, you have to have a vision, and I think that's where we start.
How many years down the road?
You know, Megan, I probably will be retired, enjoying life with my family a little bit more before it happens. I'm very realistic, because we're on stage one, and this is the type of things that I've often said. Sometimes it could take 10 years from this point to the future. And you know, the interesting part is we don't know what the future lies for us. We don't, we might all have hover cars in our garages I don't know if you put hover cars in your garages or not, but we don't know what the future is, so we're going to start looking at it.
I think it's interesting. You talked about the other pieces that could be connected to an airport in your mind. And I know this is very early in the process, but what do you think it would take for an airport, a regional airport there, to have long-term viability?
I think that what it takes is, number one, you have to have a group effort. You have to have a total buy-in by our county council, by the people, the communities, and even people who are willing to, if they have property that is large enough. And I don't think that we may have one site right now that's large enough, but that's what you do, is you have to consolidate. You might find 10 pieces of property that are all connected, and you might have to start working to start putting pieces together to make an airport happen. But to sustain it, you have to have the support of the community. You have to have the vision of people who can see how we can make this work.
That is Dennis Gannon, Jefferson County Executive. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Megan, thank you, and you have a good day.
You as well. Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to tell you about some fun family holiday events happening on the riverfront over the next couple of months. It's now 8:48.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
The threat of a pandemic has become
there when the world stood still.
My aunt and uncle got COVID.
We are averaging about 275 to 300 new cases per day right now.
The St. Charles County Health Department reports a positivity rate as high as 24%.
So in the meantime, we focus on treatments. What's the range of treatments being offered for COVID-19?
The vast majority of things is what we will call supportive care.
People are weary of loss, sacrifice, and inconvenience. They want to feel safe, to see loved ones again, and to get back to the things they enjoy.
The light at the end of the pandemic tunnel means hugging and kissing my mother again for the first time in 10 months.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX. The voice of St. Louis.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
If you want to give your kids experiences for Christmas, there are a couple of unique opportunities returning to the St. Louis riverfront this year. I got details from Amber Barbeau, director of the Riverboats at the Gateway Arch.
We're bringing back our PJs and Pancakes with Santa, which is the traditional get on the boat, wear your pajamas, have pancakes, and visit Santa. You get your picture taken with them. There's a few fun little crafts. It's been a hit. We've been offering that cruise for several years now. And then last year we rolled out with the Caroling with Santa cruise, which is actually also so incredibly special. It's a little bit different. You're just You can come however you want. You can come in pajamas. You can come in your fancy holiday attire. And Santa's just phenomenal. And who knew he had a fantastic voice? And he carols with the kids, and they can visit with him. And then there's an opportunity to purchase a picture with Santa. And you can obviously just take pictures with Santa while you're on the cruise. But it's just a lot of fun, and it's so magical and special. It's just great.
What would you say to prepare families for this? This might be a totally new experience for some kids. So what should they expect to getting on a riverboat?
Well, you're getting on a boat, you're going out on the water, which is exciting for kids in general. We have everything covered. We have the food covered. We have the safety components covered. So you just have to come and you have to have a good time. And I would encourage everybody to pay attention as they book their tickets ahead of time. Book your tickets on gatewayarch.com because these cruises do sell out. Pay attention to the directions. You're coming down Shoto to the riverfront for parking, and that people get nervous and confused just about the wayfinding down to us. So it's pretty simple. Preparation is key. Just put your set your GPS to the mural wall, and then follow the directions for the riverfront parking. But other than that, you're going to have a good time. You're going to see Santa. You're in a contained little space on a boat, and you're ready to go.
How long do the cruises last?
So our PJs and Santa Cruz is 2 hours, and our Caroling with Santa Cruz is 90 minutes.
So are there other things that parents should plan for, because you are going to be out on the water a little bit?
Yeah. So you're inside. So you can obviously go outside onto our outer decks to get a little different view and to be outside. But so I'd encourage you, if you want to spend a majority of your time outside, to definitely plan for that with the attire. But you are inside. It's our boats are heated and cooled. And then just make sure you get your kids ready and grab those pictures in front of the arch. The other thing that they should definitely plan for is that we have a fun adults only Christmas event launching this season, the Floating Sleigh. It's a holiday pop-up bar. So, you can take your kids home, and then you can come back and have some fun as well.
How quick do these cruises book up?
So a lot of everything's launched, just a lot of stuff today. And a lot of times they'll sell out pretty quickly, if not within, occasionally we have one that has tickets until just a few days before the cruise goes out, but it's very rare to be able to get tickets the day of the event.
So plan now then.
Yes, plan now.
Where can people get more information?
Yeah, gatewayarch.com, and then just go to you'll see all the information for the riverboats on there, and then the PJs and Pancakes tickets are on there, Caroling with Santa. And it will take you to the tickets page.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Amber. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, that is Amber Barbeau, director of the riverboats at the Gateway Arch. If you missed that website, you can book online at gatewayarch.com/buy-tickets. You can also call 1-877-982-1410. Well, make sure you tune in tomorrow for more of Total Information AM in the 8 o'clock hour. As you may have heard this week, President Trump is suggesting that the United States should resume testing of nuclear weapons. I've reached out to an expert here in the St. Louis area about that, about seeing what that would entail if it's different than, for example, nuclear testing used to be during the Cold War, what kind of impact it could have on the environment and human and animal populations. We're also going to look at how younger people are forgoing eating out right now. They are looking at those prices and they're shopping at the grocery store for their meals. How's that impacting some of our favorite restaurants? Jerome Katz, our KMOX business analyst, is going to join us tomorrow with more on that. Traffic coming up.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. We'll chat with Nancy Cordes, CBS News Chief White House Correspondent, plus Derek Gould on the Cardinals offseason, and Callie Bannum, oboe and English horn player for the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is Tom Ackerman for Gamma Tree Experts, a full-service tree care firm specializing in the preservation of your valuable trees. We have a lot of trees in our yard, and Tim Gamma and Tom Gamma and their outstanding staff make sure that they are well taken care of. In fact, they have now put me in the habit of taking a look at the health of our trees, plants, and shrubs. And if I have any questions, I can reach out to them at 314-725-6159, 314-725-6159, or just go to gammatree.com to learn more. Gamma Tree Experts, they will come right over and give us a full inspection, make sure that we know which trees are in trouble, which trees are doing just great. And if we end up having any storm damage, they will clean that up as well. They are Gamma Tree Experts, here since 1954. GammaTree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Let's see if things are winding down on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like we got a crash downtown, Megan, on 44 eastbound. It looks like right in the Arch Park grounds there. So just be prepared if you head that way. Traffic is backing up. Of course, it's backing up on the Illinois side as well. That eastbound 44 jam, though, back at 55 coming through the heart of downtown. Westbound drivers are gawking at it. They're backed up near the Dome. And on the Illinois side, we still have a backup 64 from about 37th Street and 5570 from 203 onto 64 at 3rd Street, where, again, those left lanes are closed for the road work. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Ladue, still slow. Southbound 170, Ladue down to 64 is backed up. And out west, things look good. 70 and 64 coming in from Wentzville. South 270, south of Olive, down to Ladue, just a little bit busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight through Hanley, just a little heavy there, but the rest of the highways look pretty good. I'm Roger Brand.